and my son just left for the day because it's 8 o'clock. Also, etc. It's Wednesday, September 30th, and it's the last day of September. So if you want to subscribe to my channel or anybody else's channel, this is your last day to save between 20 and 30%. If you gift subs to other people, you don't save anything because that's how Twitch does it. If I was Twitch, I would probably do it the other way, but I guess I'm not Twitch. So yeah. So today we're going to analyze games that I've played over the last 30 plus years in tournaments. The first game's from '89, so that is over 30 years ago. And the games go from 1989 all the way to 2008. But most of them were played in the 90s. These are games where my opponents played D4. And these were tournament games, and I play, in principle, not always, 4 or 5 different ways against D4 depending on my mood. And for reasons that I don't understand, I decided this stream not to show any King's Indian games, but I could have. Probably it would make more sense for me to show a King's Indian lecture instead of showing games I was black, because I've had white more often in the King's Indian than black, but I have had black often in the King's Indian also. So this stream will concentrate on games I was black in the Slav, the Chigorin, the albin-counter, the Baltic defense, and the closed Benoni. And depending on what year it was, I used those openings quite often. And I would interchange them a lot. So if you had white against me and you played D4, you really didn't know what you were going to get. And before I start the lecture and whatever I'm doing today, we're going to get a raid from Karen of almost 90 people, I'm guessing. So I'll read the chat now, and then I'll refresh. I always have to refresh the stream because Twitch doesn't work. If you're watching on YouTube, you can watch the stream live if you'd like at twitch.tv/GM Benjamin Finegold. I stream 6 or 7 days a week, depending on my health and how I feel and what I want to stream. And normally the streams last 3 to 4 hours, and they're in the evenings. For example, 4 days a week, I stream 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern. That's my most normal kind of streaming. Hold on, I got to get the door. Yeah, it's Archer. Well, Spencer did leave. So you might have left and then Spencer left. Yeah. All right, we had one of our, kin locked out. Over 200 channels on our television, but they're all locked out. All right, let me read the chat because it's always enlightening, except for one thing. Go Ben first. Hey, Ben. Hi. I was first. Ugh. 60 seconds of commercials. That's good. Hi, Ben and Karen. You will reply to my articles via email. That's correct, but stay there. D4, King's Indian, Benoni. Hi. Go somebody. Want to play a game? Oh, God. How is trying not to learn not banned? How's that possible? So many people need to be banned, but he's first on the list. Okay, so this is the last day of September. So even if you're watching 2 days later on YouTube, get in your time machine, go back and watch live and subscribe. Yeah. Now, Kangaroo knows what's up. Let's see. Pam loves me first. Trying not to ban. Okay, let me refresh so we can see how many viewers we have. We have 96 viewers. And then When I refreshed, about 1 out of 100 times, it takes off the mute. So then I have to mute the stream again. It hasn't done that in months, but it did it again because, Spencer's, he's not home yet. He's driving in his car, or maybe he's sitting in his car. Go, Spencer. Yeah. So I have 11 games I want to look at that were played in the period from 1990 to 2008, where I had the black pieces. And I either had black and an albin-counter, Chigorin, Slav, Baltic, or closed Benoni. And some people call the Baltic the Keres defense, and some call it the Estonian defense. I don't know what the most common is, but the Baltic is when black plays bishop f5 on move 2, which I used to do a lot. And so forth. Yeah. Okay, I don't know if I think Karen is still streaming, so she hasn't raided me yet. So I think Karen forgot to raid me. I think she ended her stream and she's driving home, and she forgot about the raid. That's what I think happened, except for one thing. Yeah, Karen's about 40 feet that way in another room. And some interesting news from our chess center is we're reopening next week. So I guess if you thought it was likely that I would pass away this year, now you're looking good. We've changed our name to the COVID Chess Club and Scholastic Center of. So we're going to open 2 days a week for a very short amount of time. Now, normally when we're open, which the last time we were open was early March, we're closed on Mondays and Thursdays, and we're open Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday night. Now, on the weekends, we have tournaments. So in October, unless things change today, which is likely, we're not going to have any tournaments on the weekends unless we do. Probably starting in November would be my guess, but I don't know. Anyway, we're still going to be closed Monday and Thursday. We're going to close Tuesday, which we normally don't do. And we're going to be open Wednesday from about 6:30 to 9:30, and we'll be open Friday from about 6:30 to 9. So we're not going to be open very much. Wednesdays, we have a month-long event. It only seems like a month, where you play a game in 75, and you play one game a week for the month. And since today is the 30th, and today is Wednesday, that means the first round would start next week anyway, so that's a good time to reopen. And on Friday, we have 6-round blitz tournaments that usually take about an hour and 20 minutes to finish, from 7 to 8:20 usually. Usually. So we're going to be doing that, and people have to wear masks, and we're going to have the boards really far apart, and we're going to try to get hot water in here, which we've never had. I'm not sure if we're going to do that. We'll have hand sanitizer everywhere. Nobody can talk to us. And if you breathe, you're forfeited. If you sneeze, you're double forfeited. And if you cough, you're triple forfeited. So there's basically, hold your breath in our club. Go, put on the mask, and then go in for a couple hours, then run out and breathe, and so forth. Mainly and so forth. And hopefully everybody will survive. I mean, not everybody. There's a couple of people, but, most people. People we like. Yeah. Now Wednesday would be maybe 6:30. I mean, that's close enough, Alexi. Yeah. I would say 6:30 to 9:30 and 6:30 to 9. Yeah. Right. If you breathe, then you're in trouble. Yeah. Now, it's unlikely that I'll get COVID here because I'm not going to be here for most of that. That's why we have employees. So, I'll probably be streaming, but I'll have the door closed and taped, an oxygen mask, and a hazmat suit. So I should be fine. And so on. October 7th, I don't know. I don't know what date that is. Let's see. Yeah, October 7th is correct. Right. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Now, unlike a lot of chess clubs that may have a lot of people, we normally don't get a lot of people Wednesday or Friday. When we get a lot of people is the weekend tournaments. We're not having weekend tournaments. So typically, we'll get about 10 people on Wednesday for the month long, and we have a 3,200 square foot facility. So it's going to be hard to get COVID in that situation. Then we'll get between 10 and 20 people for the Blitz on Friday. But the Blitz tournament only lasts like an hour and 20 minutes. So it's relatively safe compared to if we were just open all day and people were coming in and out and so forth. And mask wearing is required, and if you want to drink water, too bad. Right? Did you rate me?
I did.
Karen rated was 73. You had over 100 at one point.
Well, that's because Vampire Chicken rated.
Now, you don't expect we're having any weekend tournaments in October, do you?
Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to have a lot of people here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should we let people drink water or no?
Yeah.
What?
Is it safe? Kangaroo says, well, you know.
Nothing is safe. Yeah.
Relatively, but I mean, the numbers are down, but I guess they could go back up. But
luckily, nothing is safe. Yeah, the worst part is paying the entry fee.
Yeah.
Also, we don't give out any prizes because if you transfer the money, we want to give out prizes, we just can't. It's too bad. Yeah, I ordered like everything that we order for the club, so it's all coming.
Okay, that's fine.
That way,
I can make some more.
Don't
get any more hand sanitizer though.
We have enough for the rest of our lives.
Okay.
It wasn't that expensive.
All right.
I got everything, so you won't need anything. Although we will need stuff. Okay, I got coffee cups and coffee, but the accoutrement, like filters and cream. Also, those waters are older than God, right?
We already emptied those out.
And then, do you have new waters?
There's one that's fresh that we've been drinking from.
So we probably have to get more, because...
Yeah. Actually, there might be some in the storage area.
Yeah, because, I talked to God about it, and he said that those waters were here before me, and I was like, wow. Could you hang out for a few hours?
Well, I need to go back, because I told Holden that I would get him some food.
Well, just order food.
I could, if I did that, I could stay.
Yeah, stay here. Should I get him the huge?
Yeah, the Chinese.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys take, calm down over there. Hey, since you showed up, we have a lot of people. How come nobody's donated in a train? I'm mad at all of you. All right.
There was some bits.
Yeah, but come on. Actually, I don't think I use this company. Or maybe I do. Let's see. Oh, I do use them.
Yay.
Yay, Seats Boy. Okay, hold on a second here. Seats Boy donated. I'm Menu. Subscribe. Today's the last day for September, so you better 100 cent to
down. Let me see Alexi's. I know I owe you an email. Wait, go back up. Alexi, where is it?
Yeah, she said several things.
Oh. Hey, wait, stop.
Yeah.
Okay, I will send those. I'm so sorry, Alexi. I apologize. I think the deadline's tomorrow.
Do you apologize profusely? Or just like a normal apology?
I promise to send you some when we're done streaming late tonight. I apologize.
So I'll tell Holden.
I'm just doing so many things, but it's in my inbox.
So what I do is I go to orders, and then it spins forever, showing that it works. Then I go to the last order, because he always gets the exact same thing.
Yeah, whatever.
It's pretty easy. Yeah.
But I apologize, but don't lose faith in me, Alexi.
You can lose a little faith.
No. Did you answer the questions, or do we still need to send her?
I didn't do anything. Now, who sang the song, If I Ever Lose My Faith in You? If I ever lose my faith in you, yeah, there'll be nothing left for me to do.
Doesn't sound like a good song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Well, the guy sings better than me. Okay, I'll give you a hint. He's played Kasparov, and I haven't. D. Rush donated $5.
Yay,
thank you.
Thank you, D. Rush.
Thank you. Project to nowhere subscribed. So who is it?
I don't know.
He's played Kasparov chess.
Sting?
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't know that song by Sting?
Oh, I do know this song. I just didn't know your rendition.
Well, because Sting's good. So Sting recorded an album. He had a private ceremony, not a ceremony. He had a private concert in one of his estates in Italy. Like beautiful, like you can imagine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sting's worth more money than you realize. By the way, I'll explain that to you later. But he's worth like $500-600 million. So he has a nice place in Italy.
I'm sure.
It's a really nice place. So he had his people over, whoever those people are, And he had the concert coincidentally on September 11th, 2001. And then the thing happened, and he still had it. And then it's alive. It's great. I mean, you should listen to it. It's great. I also saw him live. He's great.
All right, I have to go to the restroom.
No. All right, so I'll get him that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's
do.
this?
And then I'll text him and tell him, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. Why is it so expensive? I don't think. Oh, because it's tipping a lot. Oh no, now it's less expensive. Place order. All right. It's ordered. All right, let's go, train. You guys are slacking while I'm busy. Somebody, can you donate $26.38? Thank you. Our kids got to eat. All right. Bank of America. Your children's children. Okay. Back to this. Does Sting sing better than me? Possibly. Yeah. Well, Woody Harrelson drew against Kasparov, but not really. But, I mean, yeah. Exactly. Does Sting have as much money as Rex? He does not. No. I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone, and he's like, so someone in St. Louis told me that Rex bought the whole block. And I'm like, he did that a long time ago. And it's like they didn't know that. So if you've been to the St. Louis Chess Club, there's a restaurant connected called Kingside Diner. There's a parking lot next to Kingside Diner. There's, on the other side, there's a bar called Brennan's. Next to Brennan's is a restaurant called Culpepper's. Yeah, all that is the St. Louis Chess Club now. Like everything I just said. Whatever I just said, St. Louis Chess Club owns that now. They also own like 4 houses on the block. And then, yeah, so they own the whole block there, which is good for parking and good for eating. It's actually good for a lot of reasons. And I don't think Brennan's and Culpepper's are just owned by the chess club. I think they're getting rid of Brennan's and Culpepper's and it's the chess club. I think. I haven't been there in like 3 years, so I could be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure, although I think Kingside Diner is going to still have food. Although I don't know about that. Maybe I'm wrong. But the parking lot's going to be a parking lot. So that's good. Yeah, they diversified their bonds. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Let's see. The Mystery Billionaire. I think it's a mystery. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, we need some subs. We have a minute left on level 3. So, yeah. Did I cancel someone's tip? No, they got a big tip. Yeah, I'm a grandmaster. So if I tip even like 1 cent, you should, your heart should be a flutter. God damn. All right, we need 5 subs in the next minute. Let's go. Chop, chop. Yeah. Well, we can't do anything until Karen gets here. 500 centidues. Thank you. Let's see. A grandmaster just texted me. Good. That's what I like to hear. All right, in the chat, which grandmaster just texted me? Let's see if the chat can get it. Yay, McJurgle. We got 10 seconds left. We need 3 subs. Quick. Somebody, anybody? 10 seconds. 3 subs. 1,000 centidues. No. Oh, we didn't make it. 1 centidue. Well, level 3's okay. It's better than usual. All right. Yay, level 3. Let's see if anybody got it. Gowrie. Man, Gowrie's not even close to a GM. Let's see. Some of those people are GMs. That guy's not alive. Let's see. Ken West. Well, how far you texted yourself? No. All right, you guys are giving really bad answers because of your, learning disabilities. So I'll give you a hint. He lives in Georgia. Yeah. Lives in Georgia. Let's see. Eric Rosen's not a GM. Zapata. Kangaroo wins. Very good. All right. The state of the country, nobody knows. That would give you too much information. I also will accept SpongeBob, so that's acceptable. Whatever your name is. I didn't say you had mental issues. I said you have learning disabilities. Obviously, you have mental issues. That's not related to your learning disability. Yeah. See, it's easy to see you have learning disabilities. First of all, I watch you play chess. But more importantly, this happens a lot in the chat. I'll ask a question, and somebody will give the wrong answer, and then a minute later, the same wrong answer appears from 5 different people. I mean, that just shows you have some brain damage or something. This happens in my classes a lot when the kids are rated like 100. I'm like, what's the winning move? And the kid's like, knight f3. And I'm like, no. And the next kid says knight f3. And not sarcastically, they're just, that's people, right? You agree.
I do that too.
Right. Yeah.
I space out and I don't hear what's
exactly. But it's weird when it happens over and over in the same class. Like the next kid, knight f3, and I'm like, wait a minute. And Wes told me whenever it happens 3 or 4 times, the last person just say, yes, that's right, to see what the other people do.
Yeah.
The other people will be like, oh, well, I wish I was right like that, even though I was. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's because their indolence.
Isn't efficacious.
Obviously. Yeah. Didn't watch the debate. That's right.
Let me over.
What am I doing?
There we go.
I'm busy cleaning my glasses.
Hey, where were you? I didn't see you earlier trying not to learn.
He's trying not to get banned. All right.
The stream.
These aren't too cold. Okay. So we're going to start. So the purpose of this stream, as it says in the name of this stream, is these are games over the years where I face D4. Mm-hmm. And we're going to discuss 5 different ways of playing. The Slav, the albin-counter gambit, the Chigorin, the Baltic, which is also known as the Karas or Estonian, and the closed Benoni. So we're not going to look at any King's Indian games. Is that okay? All right. Those are the lines that I play. Okay, this game was played before Karen was born. Let's see. In 1989, right.
I couldn't see
And not only that, I think this was played in Germany. It was. This was Zehlendorf versus Dortmund in the Bundesliga 89-90 against the German player Robert Vogel. So Kangaroo's all excited because I mispronounced everything, but he's still excited. In the Bundesliga, yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's going on YouTube, Regis.
How old is Karen? Old enough. Okay. So he figured since it was before you were born that you were like 20 and this game's 30 years old.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right. East or West Germany in 89? Man, it's close. Yeah, everything. We tried to go to East Germany and we were in Berlin, the Dortmund team, and our guys like, we're going to go to East Germany. And before we went, they closed East Germany because Gorbachev was there being Gorbachev. So nobody could go from the West Berlin to East Berlin. So I never went. Okay.
Vogel is pronounced with an F sound.
Vogel? Yeah, it's like Vogt.
Okay.
Yeah, like VOGT. This is an East German grandmaster. Mm-hmm. It's pronounced Vogt, like that's how it's pronounced.
Oh.
Yeah. See, backed up. Yeah. That guy's a GM, though. Yeah, the Kangaroo likes my pronunciation of Vogt. Okay, and you know what his favorite movie is? Meet the Fogters. All right, so I play the albin-counter gambit, your favorite, and he took. What's the main move for black in this position?
I'm going to guess D4.
Correct.
But that's all I know.
Now, do grandmasters generally play knight f3 or e3? What do they generally play?
I don't know. Maybe E3.
No, e3 is a mistake.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
McJurgle said garçon means boy. What movie is he referencing? Pulp Fiction. So in Pulp Fiction, Tim Roth says, garçon, coffee. And the woman comes and pours coffee and says, garçon means boy, and then walks away. Yeah. That was the end of her. That was the end of her lines. That was it. That was it. Okay. Knight f3, knight c6, g3. Now, for many years, bishop g4 was the main move. Then there was a book written in the 80s which said bishop e6 is better. So I played bishop e6, attacking this pawn. Okay. Not sure if it's better. Also, a lot of good players play knight ge7 with the idea of knight g6 and knight e5, so forth. Okay, he defended his pawn. Queen d7 and long castle and short castle. This is all in my book that I had at the time. Put it in h. He played h4. Knight h. This is still theory. Now, what white wants to do, what black wants to do, assuming white does nothing, is he can play knight g4 attacking this pawn. And also, sometimes he plays knight e3, confusing the audience. Notice the knight on e3 forks the queen and rook. So if you take it and I take, then I got all this action here on the d file. So that's one idea, and this is another idea. Now my opponent, he, instead of playing like a normal, solid, he was like, rawr, and he played b4. And after the game, I'm like, dude, why did you play so aggressively? And he said,
I don't know.
and also I think it hadn't been out yet in 89. I don't think, no, this line is after 89. So he couldn't even have said it. It's a Simpsons reference. But The Simpsons started in 80 and 89. I don't think this episode had aired yet. I said, why did you play so aggressively? And he said, we Germans aren't all smiles and sunshine. So
Somebody said fries. Wrong Simpsons.
yeah, boo, boo. Yeah. Okay. So I ignored this, and I played the engine move, knight g4. I want to take this. He played queen a4. Now, if he plays b5 attacking my knight, and my knight moves away, he would take on a7. So I play king b8. Then I defend a7. Okay. He played bishop b2. The engine does not like that move. I took with the knight, and the engine already says black is better. He played queen b3, which is fine, and I played c5. So now I've defended my pawn on d4. I'm no longer a pawn down. His bishop isn't as good. Okay, bishop a3. The engine doesn't like that. Now my moves are good because I used to be good. You know, like the old guy. So what's the engine move?
I can't see that.
Good. It changed. So that's good you didn't see.
Oh.
Queen c7. That attacks this and defend. The rook is good. He took. I took back. He played a3. He's trying to open up the queen side. But, I'm winning all these pawns. Rook fb1. See this latent potential he's got? Now, the point of the albin-counter is, and this was my style at the time, was when I had white, I wanted to play very solid and boring and be slightly better and beat you in 100 moves. And when I was black, I didn't want that to happen to me. I wanted the game to be confusing, and then I would use my youth and overexuberance to beat you. Okay, now in this position, the engine says black only has one good move, but that it's also winning. So that's good. I played that move because I used to be good. Bishop f5, attacking the rook. And the rook can't really stay on the b file because there's nowhere to stay. So then he doesn't have pressure like he did. So he moved his rook c1, bishop c5, blocking it up. I have the two bishops. I have an extra pawn, and he doesn't have enough compensation. Queen b5, which is nonsensical. Now, the reason he played queen b5 is he wants to play knight b3. But his queen was on b3. So, okay. So I kicked his queen. And then I played rook he8 Morphy style. And you can see the engine says I'm winning. He has no compensation for my extra material and my bishops. My knight's pretty good. My bishops are active. Rooks are in the center. Passed pawn on the 6th rank. Okay, he played knight b3. And this is something that a lot of the viewers at home aren't good at. So when my opponent plays knight b3, he's pressuring the bishop on c5.
Okay.
Right. But he's trapping one of his pieces. Which piece? He's making it so the piece has nowhere to go.
My queen is looking a little crazy.
Right. So I played.
Bishop d7.
Yep. And he's only got one place to go. So he went there. And then I trade queens. And he's got no compensation for my extra material. Bishop c3 is a cute move because if he takes this, I play bishop b2. So that's cute to go here, here, here. So he played rook a2. Bishop e6. Man, that's a good bishop, right? Knight d2. Bishop b2. And his rook is trapped, so he has to sack the exchange. Now, you see how he has pressure here, potentially?
Mm-hmm.
So I always retreat. Bishop c8. All right, and now just the wrap it up button. Just up a lot of material.
Hey, Paul, drink water. Hey, Buck, Chuck Luck.
Okay, and he resigned here. The point of rook f5 is I keep his knight from escaping. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So here he resigned. The engine says I'm only +3. He should have played bishop e4 instead of resigning. Okay, but +3 is +3. Yeah. So in that game, we got a double-edged game where instead of playing natural, normal, boring moves where we have an interesting game with opposite side castling, my opponent sort of went crazy. He was just playing like the craziest, most aggressive move, but he never really got any attack. And as a consequence of his play, he lost 2 pawns. Like he played b4 and I took it. He played a3 and I took it. And then I was up material. And he didn't get the compensation he wanted. But more importantly, I got the kind of game I wanted where it's not like white's better and black is trying to draw like you would see at the super grandmaster level now. It's double-edged, complicated, and white has to fight to get an advantage, and white can easily lose. And that's, of course, what you're looking for when you're a younger player and you're trying to beat lower-rated players, which was the case in 1989. Yeah. Hangs Mate and One subscribed, and Grunge War gave 200 cents to dues and said, "Hey, Ben, hey, Karen."
Yay. Hey, Grunge Ward.
What happened to your youth? No. Yeah.
Hey.
Now, the first
Go ahead.
Simpsons episode, which aired in the end of '88, was a Christmas episode. So most people don't consider that the first full Simpsons episode. Before that, there were vignettes on the Tracy Ullman show. They lasted a few minutes, and they were drawn very crudely. Then when the Simpsons got famous and popular, she sued them because she wanted money for them being on her show or something. Yeah, she did not win. Anyway, so the first episode is Santa's Little Helper, where they find him at the racetrack and he brings them home for Christmas. That's the Christmas present.
Okay.
And the second episode, which is the first episode, because it wasn't a Christmas episode, is called Bart the Genius, where Bart cheats off of Martin's paper and people think Bart is a genius. Yeah. And then the series takes off, obviously, and frankly. But the characters look a lot different because as the series goes on, different voice. You know, they really wanted to have Homer have a Walter Matthau voice, and the voice changed a lot. Yeah. Also, Smithers, sort of like Kramer, was black in the first episode. Then he became white. Yeah. Yeah, Kramer was supposed to be black, and his name was Kessler, but then it was Kramer. That's too complicated. Yeah. Nobody can understand. Yeah, you hung your queen. Boo. Okay. Yeah, and then the wall came down, and then, people liked John Cougar Mellencamp. Then when they stopped liking him, he kept changing his name. It was John Cougar Mellencamp, John Mellencamp.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because the wall come tumbling down, the Berlin Wall. Yeah, and then when the Berlin Wall came down, they needed another Berlin Wall, so they got Kramnik. I think that's what happened. Did you get the Kramnik joke? He plays the Berlin. They call it the Berlin Wall.
Oh, okay.
He draws.
I was smiling because Project Nowhere said Karen is enthralled.
That's correct. Yeah, Quidgibo, a North American dumb ape-like creature. They were playing Scrabble in one of the early episodes of The Simpsons, and Homer played one of them played the word Quidgibo. He's like, what's Quidgibo mean? And then Bart's like a dumb North American ape-like, is like describing Homer. Yeah.
That's funny.
Now also, no, not 81.
Yeah, it
no.
was
No.
much
And,
later.
right, it was 89 and or 90, but 89. Then in the Flintstones, they were playing Scrabble, and Fred played Zarf. And then they said that's not a word, and he was like, oh, But turns out Zarf is a word. But the people who made Flintstones didn't know that. So, yeah, Zarf is a chalice. It's like, when you go to Starbucks and you don't want to hurt yourself on the hot cup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sleeve thing, if it's the right kind of sleeve thing, can be called a Zarf, but not the one they give you. Mm. Yeah. And then they agreed to a draw. Also, what? Okay. Now we'll go to the next game. Mm-hmm. This was against Andrew Whiteley, R.I.P. Now, he was old when I played him. And this was in 1990 in Capelle-la-Grande. Now, for $1 trillion, Karen, because we need some money, what city is Capelle-la-Grande a suburb of? No, it has no. Capelle-la-Grande? It's a suburb of what city?
I don't know, Paris.
Good answer. I think the Heat will win in 5 or 6 games, but the Heat are some of the biggest underdogs in the history of NBA betting.
Alexi, guess Paris.
Let's see, Minnesota, Lyon, Antwerp, Pompeii. All right, nobody got it. Okay, I'll give you guys a hint.
Michigan?
What? No, it's in France. Okay. In northern France is correct. I'll give you guys a hint. It's a city in northern France, as discussed, and it was the name of a movie that came out in the last year or two, which we did not see. Hobo Dog is correct. Dunkirk. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back. So this is Andrew Whiteley. He's an old British IM. And his name used to be Old British IM. Now, he's not an Old British IM anymore because he probably died like a year after this game. Yeah. Okay, this is one of my favorite games in the albin-counter gambit because I played a really nice move which I show in my lectures. So you've seen it before. Okay, so albin-counter, c'est la même chose, oui? Ok, bon. Et maintenant, il joue comme ça, et je joue de 4, oui? Oui? Ok. Cavalier F3. Cavalier c'est fou, oui? Non, c'est une blague.
Crazy.
What?
Fou is crazy.
Right, see, the fou, this is the fou in French, which is like the Joker, crazy. There's a commercial from 35 years ago in Belgium and France, Perrier c'est fou, and they show people like, because it's fizzy. Right? And I used to say, Vitel c'est cavalier. Vitel's another drink. It's not Perrier. It's water. And so, if Perrier c'est fou, Vitel c'est cavalier. Tu comprends? Oui?
I don't understand now.
Oh, okay. So, Perrier is this. So, I would say another water is that. Like, that was the joke. So, Perrier c'est fou, Vitel c'est cavalier. Oui?
No.
Ah, c'est pas possible. Tu comprends pas? Non?
Vous êtes terrible.
Let's see. Andrew Whiteley smoked a pop. That is correct. God damn, that is correct. What? It's pretty funny. I make jokes in other languages. You guys don't do that. Okay, it's an Alvin. That's right. It's Alvin in the yeah. Non, c'est pas bon. It's 2 a.m. à France. Oui, oui. Wait, if you want to say yes in French, you say oui, oui? Oh, I'm going to be back in a minute. I have to go take a wicked yes. Okay. You know who said that?
No.
Peter Griffin.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, so, je joue comme ça, et là, c'est la même chose the dernier ronde. It's the same as the last game I showed. Okay, this is still the same, right? Now, if you don't believe it's still the same, who can we ask? Bob Seger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, she got
I
it.
had to think for a
Yeah,
minute.
it's still the same. Okay, this is still the same, still, right?
Oh, you don't like the way French sounds, Cookie Monster?
Well, maybe you like the way it sounds better if somebody who speaks French can speak it. Then you might like it.
I
Yeah.
like the way it sounds.
Let's see. German's the angriest sounding language. There's a Simpsons episode where Lisa gets lost in Springfield. She takes a bus and she ends up in Old Town, like the Europe. And these two guys are playing chess on the street. And she says, "Excuse me, can you tell me where something is?" And the guy goes, "Rah, rah." And the translation is, "Hello, little girl. If you want to go to the museum, you take a right here." It's just like very nice. And then she runs away like crying because he's yelling. And he says, "Good luck, little girl. I hope you find the museum." And he's, rah, Eastern European kind of language. Okay. No one's gotten to me yet. See, that's the line from Still the Same. Yeah. What's the only risk that he would take? A gambler share.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now in the previous game, the guy played H4. You agree? Because that's the game I just showed you with Vogel, right? Okay. Whiteley played Knight G5, confusing the audience. He wants to take my bishop. Okay, so I took his pawn. He took my bishop, and I took back. So now material's equal, but he has the two bishops, but I have the what else? Okay, the engine wants to play H4 or Queen B3. He made a very poor move here. And in these kind of double-edged positions where you have to decide, should I make a defensive move like H4? Should I make an attacking move like Queen B3? And if I make an attacking move, what should it be? For example, if he plays Queen B3, then he's threatening B7, and when I defend it, he's blocking his B pawn. So maybe he shouldn't play Queen B3. Anyway, H4 is the engine move, but he played B3. Okay? So that doesn't really stop my attack. That's H4 is looking pretty good. See, I got... Okay, he played Cavalier F3. Oui? Yeah, Cavalier F3. Okay, I took on G3, and he took with the H pawn, which the engine doesn't like. He took with the bishop. The engine actually wants to take with the pawn, and I threaten checkmate. All right, now, this is a good defensive quiz for you. What's the only move for white? There's only one move. Any other move, you can resign. Get rid of that. And I'll look at the chat while you're finding it. Lisa wanted to go to the library. Homer didn't take her. That's correct. The commercial. She went the wrong way. What was he thinking? Chess TV. Spencer.
Rookie
Bonarici. That's correct. And he played Rookie 1. That's right. Okay. I played Knight F6. It's the engine move, and I used to be good. Okay. Queen D3. And then I played Bishop B4. That's the engine move, and I used to be good. And he played Bishop D2, which the engine says is bad. Takes is good. Knight G4. Now, if it was Black's turn to move, which it's not, Black has mate in 2. Please show the mate in 2 that Black is threatening. Mate in 2.
Let's see. Queen H2.
And then...
Queen F2.
So he has 2 defenses. He can trade bishop for knight, or he can defend F2 by moving his E pawn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and the engine says he should take the knight, which he did. Okay, now normally I would play Queen H1 mate, but the computer won't let me. See? If only I had always played King B8 earlier, then okay. All right. Now I want to triple up on the H file. So instead of moving this rook here and this rook here, I played rook D6 because the engine says that's the right move. Queen F3. Okay, now you can vote. Trade queens or don't trade queens? That is the question. Whether it's just nobler in the albin-counter to suffer the slings and arrows of an attack against your king, or to take arms against the attack on your opponent's king, and whatever. Oh, you got Purdy here.
I wouldn't trade, but
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put it in H, Queen H3, and he played Queen G2. This is the move of the game I'm the proudest of. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So black to play, what move did I make? And don't look at what it says, but the engine right now says my move is +7 and other moves are not. So that's why I like this move. It's not only the kind of move that I like, but it's also the best move, which is a coincidence.
I don't know, rook h6.
Hey, Dominic, how are you doing? Hey, Dominic, this is serious if you're listening. This weekend, Friday and Saturday, and next weekend, Friday and Saturday, Twitch is doing something with chess. It's too long to talk about. And they've chosen Karen and me and some other people, but not many other people, to play matches with other streamers. You're a streamer. It doesn't matter if you're a chess streamer. They don't care about that. As long as you're a streamer. Now, you have to be an affiliate or a partner with Twitch. If you're not, then it's not allowed, I guess. And it'll be on the front page of Twitch, and it lasts for an hour. So if you want to do that with either me or Karen or both, this Saturday, Friday, or next Friday, Saturday, let us know. And with Karen, just play her a match. Me, we can do something funny like, queen odds or rook odds or something.
Yeah,
we'll do something funny.
I'll send you a whisper.
Yeah, it'll be careless, though. Yeah.
Because it has to be a particular time.
Right, now let me yell at you a little.
Yeah.
I haven't yelled at you in like a minute. I said, do you want to trade queens or not? And you said no.
Right.
Then I said, what do you do here? And you made a move that allows a queen trade.
Oh, okay, so maybe you went queen h7.
That is correct. Very good. By far the best move. And that's called the Finegold Boyd gun. Okay, that's the gun that's going to end it all eventually. Okay, Karen's like, I can't take it. Where's the Finegold Boyd gun? Okay, it'll be Boyd shooting fine. Okay, now, so I want to check him here, but I want to check with a rook, not with a queen, because he'll trade queens.
Right, okay.
So even if my rook was already here by cheating, if I play this check, he just takes, king g2, Papa John's. I clicked the wrong button. Now the whole world is over. Wow, chess 24. How's it chess 24? How's that even possible? I don't even understand how that's possible. I went to the last. Yeah, the whole world is over. All right, well. All right, the stream is ended. Bye, everybody.
The game's probably not there.
Well, it'll be there. Yeah, it'll be there because it's nothing ever works ever. So the fact that it shouldn't be there means it'll be there. Yeah. All right, now let's see what's happening on the stream. Oh, it just came back. Yeah, all right. All right. Yeah, now I want to see how Hans is doing based on that.
Oh, yeah, did the norms...
Yeah, I was looking at Hans' game on the internet, but I was looking at it here too.
Is there just one game the first day and then two each day, probably?
Wow.
I think it's got to be...
Let's see.
It's gotta be
Hans resigned on move 8. He was playing at 2300. Wow. No, he's still playing. It is move... It's really early in the game. It's move 12, and they've been playing for... They've been playing for an hour and 45 minutes, and it's move 12?
Who's he playing?
He's playing Balaji Dagupati, and I have a really funny story about him. This is a true story.
Yeah.
This is one of my best stories ever. Oh, maybe it wasn't
Can you
Balaji.
go to the current?
Maybe it wasn't Balaji. I was in the World Youth coaching, and I don't know if it was Balaji or some other kid. It might have been another kid now that I'm thinking about it. But it could have been Balaji. Doesn't matter. It applies to somebody. And one of the kids I thought was too weak. I thought he was like 1,000 strength. And so I questioned like why he was there, and I looked, and it turned out he was like 2,000. But in the tournament, he like hung a queen to like knight check, winning a queen. He was like hanging his queen every game. He played like it was 1,000. It might have been him. But anyway, I don't know if it was him or the other kid. The point of the story is that kid's like 2,400 now. So I don't know. My judge of talent was good.
I wasn't leaning. When was I leaning away from Ben?
Okay.
Sometimes
So
it's too loud.
Oh yeah, this should be here. Terrible. In other words, they can't hear you. Okay,
Yeah.
so Hans is playing with many other people in 2 norm tournaments in Charlotte, run by the Charlotte Chess Center. There's a GM norm tournament, which Hans is playing in. There's an IM norm tournament, and so forth. Let's see, what does that say?
Well, I hope he does well. Oh, the microphone's better over here.
Well, yeah, they can hear you now. The food's there. Let's see. What's Holden's name? Holden, right? Spencer, Stewart, Rachel's, Kasparov, Fisher, Morphy. Food arrived. You can eat. All right. Wait, who else is texting me? People are texting me? Holden instantly texted back. Like, even before I pushed send.
Yeah, Tarek Hans is in a Norms tournament in Charlotte.
Now, according to Twitter,
Hans
flew to the tournament, and he said there were 4 crying babies on the flight. And I was like, all right, Hans is one, Hikaru is another one. All right. So I played Queen H7, as you recommended. Now I'm going to go here and here. And then he resigns. Okay, so he played this, G4, because he thought he was...
Matt Larson.
And why wasn't he Matt Larson? Why not? You're like, man, that's a tough question to answer.
Why wasn't he Matt
Correct.
Larson? Well, this is before he was born?
Way before Matt Larson was born.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, so that's why. Okay, so I tripled up on the bubble up. Okay, and he played Queen G3. So now, if I check, he moves up and, whatever. I got nothing, right? Now I played a finesse. Now, his queen needs to be on G3. Let's take his queen off the board. Imagine it's off the board. Did you imagine it? Now I go rook H1 check, queen H3 mate. If his queen's on G2, I play rook H1 check and his king can't move anywhere. So what move did I play based on that crazy analysis? His queen has to be on G3, so I played.
I guess rook H3.
Yep. And there's nothing he can do. Now, I don't know if Papa John's was around in 1990, but if so, Papa John's. You know why White's position is like Papa John's? Because it's terrible. So Karen would say something like, I don't think Papa John's is terrible. Then I would retort with, what do you eat at Papa John's? And that would be the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
You like their wings?
I do like their wings.
What else?
They're all right.
What else? What else? Chicken wings. What else?
I'll eat their cheese spread. I'm not a big pizza person, so you're asking me. The Papa John's pizza is fine. I'm just not a pizza person.
When's the last time you had Papa John's pizza? Never?
I don't ever go out of my way to eat pizza.
Exactly.
No, to eat any pizza.
Papa John's not that bad relaxed. Should I ban him?
No.
Why not? Hans Gruber is playing Norm from Home Improvement. Wait, what? None of that made any sense. You prefer Mama John's. Papa John's is horrible pizza from a horrible person is correct. However, that guy's nothing to do with Papa John's anymore. He was kicked out. The guy who's the horrible person, he's nothing to do with them.
You work at Papa John's? It's young Gibby?
Yay! Yeah, but Papa John's got rid of their CEO who was a lunatic. Yeah.
No, I'm not a pizza person, Bishop takes.
Why was he a horrible person? That guy? Do you know who I'm talking about?
You probably didn't hear about it. It's not like he's that famous.
He's pretty famous.
I mean,
Dominic says Papa John's isn't pizza. Man, the truth hurts.
I know, but I mean, I ate pizza when we were in
All
Italy.
CEOs are lunatics.
Italy. I'm just not a pizza person.
Truth hurts. Yeah. Wow. The 4 horsemen of bad pizza. Okay, first of all, Jimmy dude, let me explain something to you about bad pizza. If you want bad pizza, there's only one city to go to. What's the answer?
I don't know.
St. Louis. Okay, the worst pizza on earth, see, if you've had bad pizza before, you got to go to St. Louis. Okay, you have to. Just so you can be like, wow, Ben was right. Ben's never been so right. St. Louis has St. Louis pizza. Now, this sounds like a joke.
Yeah, Little Caesars is way worse.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not worse than St. Louis pizza. Now, let me explain to you about St. Louis pizza. The cheese on St. Louis pizza is not allowed to be called cheese by the federal government. So
Really?
Yeah. Okay, it's Provel cheese. You've heard of Provel cheese? The answer is no. You have not. No. Okay, now, if you want bad pizza, there's Emo's, which is famous. Then there's Cecil Whitaker's. Possibly Cecil Whitaker's, but Cecil. Now, let me explain why Emo's is worse. This is a very complicated explanation. They're both equally bad, but Emo's is more expensive. When I told St. Louis people that, they were like, yeah.
Thank you, Mepex.
Yeah.
My mind will explode if St. Louis pizza is worse than Little Caesars.
See Pickle pass out? Did he have enough exclams?
Well, I'm not sure. Oh, Emo's is the worst. I thought he was saying.
No, Emo's. You can't understand how bad Emo's is. See, Little Caesars pizza, unlike Emo's pizza, is pizza.
Yeah.
Right. I'm paraphrasing Family Guy. And Family Guy needed a loan from a bank, and he's like, the reason we can give you a loan is that unlike other banks, says our bank isn't a bank. Says that's why we can. Yeah, we're not a bank. Emo's is barely food.
Like that son agrees.
Yeah, you could attest Ben is correct.
Do you have to know like that son, no?
What?
In person?
What?
Do you know that person in real life?
Who?
Like that son.
I don't know.
Oh.
He says he can attest that I'm correct. Right, a lot of people like Emo's pizza. All right, let me give you the Emo's pizza experience. Crackers, ketchup, fake cheese. I gave you the good experience there. If you did that at home, that would be, then you know what Emo's pizza is.
That's pretty gross.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, New York pizza is awesome. Detroit pizza is great. Chicago pizza is great. That is correct.
When I was a kid, my mom made pizza out of biscuit dough and tomato paste.
Bonarici, you've had Emo's? You've had it before? Explain to Karen how bad it is. I mean, I'm getting sick thinking about how bad it is.
I don't even like pizza to begin with that much. Yeah. I can eat it. I can eat anything.
I forgot. Yeah. Yeah,
I have to go soon.
Nothing's worse than.
So only one more game and then I have to go home.
Here, let's go to the internet.
It's a school night.
I mean, Emo's pizza. Maybe you can see how bad it is. Yeah, there we go. What's this? Oh God.
It's hard to tell from that picture.
It says Emo's COVID. It says COVID. It says COVID safer than Emo's. Yeah. Emo's is the worst.
It's hard to tell. Get a better picture. Maybe click images.
Boo. The only thing I care about is how bad Emo's is. Oh, God. No. Ugh.
Oh, that does look weird.
Right. It's much worse than it looks. You don't understand how bad it is. Oh, God. It tastes much worse than it looks. 1999 Puzzle Pawn. I think that the U.S. Championship idea would be good if they'd invite me. Something.
Yay, thank you, Puzzle Pawn.
Let's see. Let's go to all. Emo's Pizza, the worst.
We might start streaming from home, Nerf.
See what this says here?
Mm-hmm. Now that we have better internet.
Here, read this one. See that?
Yeah.
Now go to this one. Here's one.
Yeah,
what do we think of this hot circle of garbage? The 5 worst pizzas in America.
That's funny.
Yeah. Look at this. Avoid Emo's and the imposter Cecil Whitaker's. Right. That's the imposter. That's right. Yeah. 0 stars. Yeah.
They said imposter.
The weirdest pizza. The weirdest cutting. Yeah. The worst thing that's ever happened in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. We might start streaming from home once the chess center gets more full of COVID carriers.
Here, read this review. The biggest problem is the cheese. It tastes like liquid canned cheese or Velveeta, the kind they would use on cheap nachos at the ballpark. It is quite thin. It is very tough and not tasty or appealing. Reminds me of overcooked cardboard. Now, overcooked cardboard's got to taste better.
All right, look, I have to go soon.
Yeah.
Can I see one more game before I go?
Hold on, let me read some more
reviews. I don't
reviews.
care about his pizza. I don't like
Pretty
pizza.
big. Look, these are other reviews.
All right.
Yeah. Profile cheese pizza, you bet. No. No, I dream of Provel. No, you don't.
I mean, they can't see what you're reading. Let's go and do some
Hold on.
chess. Do some chess.
Provel cheese wiki. All right.
All right.
Yeah, see, there you go. Provel is subject to guidelines on labeling cheese. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
That's
Yeah, is rarely used elsewhere. That's correct. It's rarely used elsewhere. I like that. It was invented for St. Louis pizza.
Okay.
What does that even mean?
That is
Invented
funny.
cheese to put in, yeah, because it's cheap.
So it is really special. Okay, it is
Wow.
specially made.
Anyway, if you've had Emo's pizza, you can
Only Bonarici's had it, and like that son.
I don't think you can get vegan at Domino's unless you're in the UK or in Europe. I think here the crust is already not vegan. Papa John's you can get vegan. You just get no cheese.
Is that a Nickelodeon shirt?
This
No.
this is our shirt. It's Pondemonium.
We sell that in the merch store.
Yeah, the more you pay for it, the more money we have. All right, don't forget to donate. All right. Now I'm playing in Groningen, your favorite town in the Netherlands, right? It's on the sea.
All right, last game for me.
What? That rhymes. The first time I was ever in Groningen ever, it was really dark when I got there. And I get to the hotel, and I hear this really loud noise. I'm like, what the hell's that? And then when I wake up, it was the sea. I didn't know we were right on the sea. Because I don't know. What do I know? Yeah. What's my favorite game? Probably one of mine, or one of Karen's.
He says, not yours.
Yeah. Pizza Stream, I love it. Yeah. Favorite game that's not mine? I don't know. Groningen is not on the sea.
My favorite game
Groningen is on the sea.
of my game, you actually did a lecture on my game, put it in the lecture with the African American doctor in Charlotte, and I forgot his name right
This
now.
guy, I've been to Groningen like 800 times, and this
Yeah.
guy's telling me Groningen's not on the sea. Should I ban him?
No.
All right.
So do you remember the guy?
What's your question?
The African American guy that I played in Charlotte? The doctor.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite games I ever played.
You were black in like a QGD, and you kept taking his pawns.
Yeah, you put it in a. You tried to trade queens. I'm like, not so fast.
I know his name, but it would take me like an hour to think of
You
it.
put it in a lecture
Yeah.
one time.
I lived there. No.
Can't remember
The
his
city
name.
isn't on the sea. The province is. God damn. Yeah. Well, my hotel was on the sea, so that shows you what you know. Yeah. Or maybe I was in Vikonsee. That's also possible. I think it was Vikonsee. Never mind. Yeah, because it's on Zee. I'm confusing Groningen and Vikonsee for obvious reasons. Do you know what the obvious reasons are? I've been to both. Yeah.
All right, let's do the
Wait,
game.
Groningen? Which one has the Italian
chess.
restaurants?
Let's
Yeah.
do
Well, Hans
chess.
become GM. Ugh. Okay. So back to whatever it is I was doing. Okay, I'm black, and now we're gonna do a Baltic defense. Ready?
Okay.
So this is the albin-counter. You agree? This is the Chigorin. This is the Slav. This is the way you play the QGD. That's the QGA. And then I play bishop f5. Also called the Estonian or the Keres. All right. Now he can take on d5 or play knight c3 or knight f3. They're all played. Play knight c3, e6, knight f3, c6. Now my bishop is outside my pawn chain, right? What would Aretha Franklin say?
What? Chain.
She'd say my bishop is outside my chain. Right. Okay, he played bishop f4, which isn't really a theoretical move. And I attacked his pawn. He played queen b3, and I took on c4. So if he takes on c4, I could take his b pawn. So he has to trade queens, which he did. Plays e4, looks good, right? And wins his pawn back. And I contend that black is better here, which is a very funny contention, because if you taught somebody chess, they would be very pleased with like that, right? But I have the open file, I have pressure on his pawn, and when I play b5, b4, this pawn's hard to protect. I contend black is better here, and the engine agrees with me. So I played knight f6. You don't want to play e5. because you give up all the white squares. Your d4 pawn is backward in case Farnsley's here. And you give me the d5 square, and I have some more excuses. My opponent played knight d2 defending his pawn. b5. He has to play bishop to d3. If he doesn't go here, then I'll play b4 attacking his knight, and this pawn's not defended sufficiently. So he played bishop d3.
Okay.
Knight a6, I want to play knight b4. Okay, he played rook c1, and I played rook d8 threatening his pawn. So you see I'm putting tremendous pressure on his pawns. He defended again, confusing the audience. Now the audience that's here watching the stream doesn't know which knight is which one's the king knight, which is the queen knight. Bishop takes, gifted a sub. Hooray! Hey Cavani, how are you doing?
Yay.
It's time for another train. Queen b3 is also a move, that's correct. And e5, I've played that.
Hey, Cavani.
Spencer was pointing out something I forgot to point out.
Yeah.
After queen b3, now you're okay now, because I'm going to show you something you're not going to like. When I show you this, you'll be like, whoa, this is worse than Provel cheese.
Okay.
There's only one move Grandmasters make here. It's the engine recommended move. It's not a move you would ever consider. So that you got to figure out a move you would never consider. Then that's the move. So you see how like this is attacked and this is attacked? So the only move is this. Yeah. If you don't believe me, here, see, e5. That's that. I've played this position. Are you confused? Because it confuses the audience. If you go here, I said if, then knight here. Giving up all your pawns. But, white's development is a little iffy.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, this is one of the main lines, too. All right, so my opponent played this, as we saw, and then knight e2. Okay, back to reality. I played knight c5. What would Cleveland Brown say I'm attacking in this position?
Cleveland Brown.
I just want to see people in the chat get it. I don't think you could get it. There we go. Honky Blood got it first. And Bishop takes one's pizza.
Oh, everything.
Everything.
I've seen it. But
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get it.
Yeah, see how I'm attacking all this stuff?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? See, it's all attacked? Yeah. Okay, and the engine says he's in trouble. He took, which is the engine move. I took. Now I have the two bishops, and these pawns aren't very good. He played knight g3, and I put it in h. I want to play h4. Engine agrees. He played h4. I played knight d7, pressuring this pawn. He defended his pawn. And now what do I always do?
Sack the exchange.
Engine says that's okay. Not necessarily the best. Now I'm threatening this pawn and this pawn. So since he can't defend them both, he just didn't defend either one. Yeah, now I think this position is great for black. The engine says it's equal, but I really like black here because my pieces are so active. And I have the 3-1 pawn majority on the queen side. And his rook's not very good. These are the kind of positions that lower rated players, whichever side they have here, this is a good position to be a higher rated player. These positions are hard to play because there's a material imbalance, pawn structure imbalance, nobody's castling, you have to get active pieces. So this is where people fail. He played bishop e5. The engine does not like that move. Always play f6. Rook d3, the engine does like that move. Takes. See, I got a lot of bishops. I have 2 more bishops than he does.
Somebody says, why didn't he take the knight?
Take the knight.
Inca.
Take the
I
knight.
don't remember what.
You mean when my bishop was defending this? I guess that's what he means.
Maybe.
Then I would take his rook. That wouldn't make a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah, so you can see he can't do anything. My bishops are too strong. The engine says it's equal. Bishop e8's really good because I want to play c5 and I defend this, and then I can continue. Papa John's. Yeah, now his rook's trapped.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
His pawns are good. You see how his knight can't do Vishwa nothing? And then bishop b5 check, and god damn. Okay. He played there, stopping bishop b5 temporarily. Rook d8. Man, look at me. I'm Sandra Oh. The best move is knight d5 check. Then he still lost, but that's the best move. The idea is, if I take the knight, he checks me and takes the bishop. But he played rook takes b6, which is a blunder. And now I have a forced win, where I'm over +3. See if you can find it.
All right. Let's see.
And then he resigned in 2 moves. Yeah, I confused Groningen with Vikonsee. It was the first time I was in Vikonsee. It was dark. And I had to go uphill to my hotel with my suitcases. Terrible. Sandra Oh, what a weird reference. Well, I'm comparing Sandra Oh and Sandra D for no particular reason.
Let's see. Could you go c4?
You could. C4 is the second best move.
I'm not sure. Maybe bishop takes c2.
Bishop takes what?
Oh no, because then he can block.
You mean b2?
Yeah, b2.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the most simple move you would never consider. Okay, I have a question.
Bishop c3 check?
No, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why doesn't that win the rook? Why not? Very simple answer.
Well, I mean, you can take with the knight.
Right, so I took the knight.
Oh,
See how it's double check? You agree.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes it.
I was looking
And then I go bishop c4. And now there's no answer to my question. Why can't I play bishop c4?
I forgot the rook was trapped.
Yeah. Then he resigned. The simplest way is the best way.
Hey, Nathaniel, how's it going? I haven't seen you
Don't forget about another train. You guys forgot. Yeah.
They didn't forget.
Yeah, I did this, and then he gave up.
Yeah, I forgot the rook was trapped. I'm tired.
Remember, rooks are better than bishops, except for one thing. Yeah. Then he always resigned. Hooray for Ben.
Yay.
There's a book on one of the Groningen tournaments that we have from like 1990, and there's pictures of me in there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was younger then. Yeah.
All right, I got to run because I got to get Archer home in time to go to bed in a timely
Don't
manner.
forget the cleaning woman tomorrow. So whatever you have to do to prepare for that.
Oh, yeah.
Clean the whole house.
No, I have to get the sheets. I have to dry the sheets.
What if you don't get them done? Then
Hey,
you're...
Fried with. Sheet out of luck.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Good night. Enjoy the rest of the stream. I'll jump on after I get... How late are you streaming?
Till 11.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get on the stream at home after.
There won't be any more games.
Stuff.
I'm going to tell another hour and 45 minutes of jokes and stories. 200 centages. No, I have about 8 more games.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Grunge Ward. Yeah. All right,
Yeah, have a good
bye.
bishop.
See
I
you
mean, a
guys.
good night. Man, you ran away quick.
What do you mean?
You like jumped away when you got up. Like I was going to get you, which I was, but you know. What do you have to do? You mean inertia? All right. Inertia, I don't even know her. Hey, can you get me a cold tea? This tea is warmer than... Let's see. That joke doesn't even make any sense. So I was going to say Trump and some white supremacists. I don't know. I missed the game. Can we go over it again? All right. The answer is fries. That's what YouTube is for. Don't you know the famous Dionne Warwick song? That's what YouTube's for. I think Elton John helped out on that. All right, here's my game from the U.S. Open in Dearborn, 1992. If I remember correctly, after the game was over, the whole world was destroyed. Hooray. Ooh, a good year, too. Man, that is cold. Cold-blooded. John Urschel. He's about 1800, I think. Yeah. Okay, so this is in the U.S. Open in 92. It was about 10 miles from where I lived. I lived in Southfield, Michigan. This was in Dearborn, Michigan. Basically just down the Southfield Freeway for 10 miles or so. And it was at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, which has changed its name many times since. And Kaidanov, who had just come to the U.S. recently, got clear first. And I tied for second with everyone else. Et cetera, et cetera. Where's Dearborn? It's somewhere. Best city in Michigan to visit would be Ann Arbor. Yeah. Okay. Well, you got to turn your hearing aid up, Paul Drink. All right. Before the next game starts, let's get a train going as I open my new tea. Always spills out. They don't put up as much as they used to. They must have heard my complaints. I used to really fill it up to the top. It always spill out. Terrible. Let's see. Elton John, shooter. Get me a shooter. Let's see. Best city is Mackinac. Is that a city? Dearborn's right next to Saudi Arabia. Sort of. I thought you were going to say South Detroit. Making fun of Journey. 200 centidues. Get the scam train going. It's the only way the lecture continues. Strange. Levon was written for the actor who was the founder of the band. Levon Helms. Never heard of him. But he shall be Levon, and he shall be a good man. That's right. South Detroit's the river. Yeah. Take the midnight train to anywhere is correct. Belle Isle. There's an E at the end of Belle, but okay. Good enough. Go McJurgle. We need somebody to donate 86 subs because we're getting, need some subs here. Also, today is the last day of September until next year. Wake me up when September ends. Could you look at Hans Niemann's game? No. Although I will look at Hans Niemann's game, waiting for the train. Mepax 21. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Oh, I was looking under C for him. It's under H. Or it's under N for Neiman. I thought it was under C for something else. All right, Hans is winning. Yay, go Hans. Also Franz. His opponent's play is very suspicious. All right, Hans is completely winning out of the opening. Anybody finished? Nobody else is finished. All right, good. Yeah, to pump you up. Hans is playing Balaji Dagupati. Yes. Jekmu gave 999 centidues, and the train didn't start, which I don't understand. There's no way it's been at least an hour since the first train, unless it hasn't. Maybe it hasn't been an hour. Thanks, Jekmu. I was sure it was over an hour. This is ridiculous, frankly. Just keep donating until the train happens. Everybody give $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and when the train happens, I'll let you know. Yeah. Okay, so I'm black against Sorensen, who's probably rated about 1900. And it was another Baltic defense. And we played the same variation. Okay, in the previous game, if you remember, my opponent played bishop f4. Sorensen played. Wait. Oh, this is the same. Is this the game I just showed? Wait a minute. Oh, this is the game I just showed. Man, I was like, wait a minute. This game looks pretty familiar. Wait, now I'm confused. What's going on here? This isn't the same game. Wow. Wow, am I confused? It's like this. It's almost the exact same game. Now, when was the other game played? That would explain why I'm confused. Okay, the other game was played in Groningen in 1991, and this was played in 1992, and we followed it for quite a long way. This is my other game. Wow. This is crazy. I never realized that these two games went the exact same way. This is exactly my other game. Now, in this position, my previous opponent played... What did he play? He played rook c1 or knight e2. I think he played rook c1. This guy played f3, breaking a very important rule about never playing f3. Wow, I never realized that I've had this position twice in my life. Man, who would have thunk it? Trying not to learn 10,000 centidues, except for one thing. Reticulous subscribed. Good, we need a lot more subscriptions because it's the end of September. Trying not to learn, gifted a sub to Sleepy Joe. Go Sleepy Joe. Ooh. You guys probably didn't know this, but Joe Biden is related to Shoeless Joe Jackson. It's Shoeless and Sleepy Joe. It's hard to believe that since I made it up. But still, speaking of happy birthday, let's wish a happy birthday to the oldest president who ever lived. And he lives in Georgia, born in Georgia. Jimmy Carter, turning 96. 96 years young, Jimmy Carter. God damn. I tried to figure out what school he went to, but it was obvious. Old school. F3, go Jimmy Carter. Exactly. Jiminy Crickets, that was the answer that Brian gave to who was the greatest cricket player of all time. Instead of saying Sachin Tendulkar, he said Jiminy Cricket. Close. Yeah. Let's see. Billy Beer, you like to the wrong Carter. Very good Homer quote. Yeah. That's right. Okay, so he played f3. I played rook d8, threatening the weak pawn. And after knight b3, I played a move confusing the audience. Although the engine says it's the best move. All the moves are similar. I played knight to d5. This is a move that I know from another opening, where in the Chigorin, where you get the bishop to g6 and you can pin the pawn on. Let me see if I can remember it. I've only had it like once, but it's been a long time. See, I play e5 in this position, but I used to take. So I've had this position before, but I stopped doing it. Right, and after queen d3, which is probably a mistake, you go here, and the idea is you go here, and you try to play like knight to d5. You're pinning, you know. So I sort of know it from that opening, this knight d5 idea. Not that it's winning, it's just good. Let's see. Have you been to Plains? I have not. Greatest cricketer. What? Okay. Now here my opponent played bishop g5, and because my opponent played f3, I played f6. Bishop to d2, knight b6. All the knights are hanging around. All the young dudes. I really like these positions for black because I think it's harder to defend this than actually do something aggressive with it. Knight c4, trying to get the two bishops. The engine wants to get the two bishops for me, but he played here. And then e5, once again putting pressure on, everything. Bishop b1, always retreat. Bishop f7, always retreating. And obviously black's better here. My knight's on c4. He's very passive, etc. Bishop c5. Knight e2 is forced. Castles. Put it in h. Double up on the bubble up. And, black's clearly better here because I got 3-2 on the queen side. My knight's on c4. I've doubled on the file. And then I played this really nice Zwischenzug. Here he has to play bishop c1. After it takes, I'm sure he thought I would recapture, but I have this move winning. I used to be good at tactics. Yeah, now he loses all of his pieces. So that's one of the issues with playing f3, and why I say never play f3 and f6, is you're weakening the e3 and e6 squares, which obviously I took care of. I played bishop f7, which makes f6 look less bad because I'm controlling the white squares. However, when he plays, pawns on g2, f3, e4, all on the white squares, he's got to watch his dark squares, which he did with bishop d2 and bishop c1 and bishop f4, and then he forgot. And he played bishop takes d6, handing over e3 to the opponent. And the best move, which is quite passive, is bishop c1. Black's winning anyway, but not as winning. Yeah, and now it's just over. He didn't feel like resigning, so he waited a few moves. Hey, Indo-Queen, it's Indo-Queen. It's not necessary to write moves that are illegal, so you could just write knight e2. Yeah. That's right, he was going to dance the knight away. Okay, he can resign here. There's nothing he can do. But he played king g1. And, yeah, I took all his pieces. And he resigned here. I mean, he can take, and I go here. He's down in exchange, and I'm coming in on d2. The engine says I'm +7. Now, in the games that I showed in the Baltic, white didn't do anything to try to punish the early bishop f5 with some aggressive kind of line. Most grandmasters like to take this pawn in this position because if black isn't going to play the QGD, the QG, or the Slav, then you could take this pawn and get a big center. Neither one of my opponents did that, so I got the triangle offense, Lakers style, but with my bishop outside the pawn chain. Grungewart gifted a sub to Indo-Queen. Yeah. Karen went home about 5 minutes ago with Archer. She was here for the first hour and 15 minutes of the stream. You missed her, Indo-Queen. Boo, boo, etc. Go Grungewart. All right, we're trying to get to our sub goal because September ends today. And if you sub today for yourself, you save 20 to 30% depending on if you get 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. This is your last time to save. The more you spend, the more you save. For example, I subbed for 6 months today to Karen's stream. Think of the savings we got. It was great. I'm so happy with those savings. All right. Next game is against Wayne Conover, 2400 USCF. It was played in the 1992 New York Open. And I've shown this as a puzzle on many of my videos and streams and all that. Before you were born. Right. Could you have played knight c? I could have played c5. Yeah. Now, Miami is obviously the favorite as far as who should be the favorite. But for reasons that make no sense, the Lakers are a huge favorite. I mean, they're one of the biggest finals favorites of all time, even though Miami's a better team. So, I don't know. People forget about the Pistons, which reminds me of the Miami team, by the way. When the Pistons were good, and we beat the Lakers in 5 when they had Kobe and Shaq, the game the Lakers won, they made like a 3-pointer as time expired. That was sort of lucky. The other games, they got crushed. And the announcer at the end of game 5, when the game was wrapping up, he said in a very prophetic fashion, you have the feeling if this series never ended, it just went on forever, the Lakers would never win a game. God damn. This was Kobe and Shaq in their prime. But the Pistons were just better. Okay, and more physical, and had more players that could play well, people who could step up, better defense, better coached, Papa John's. So this reminds me of the Miami team. They're not obviously as physical, but, you know, they got a guy named Bam. God damn. If you got a guy named Bam, I'm betting on you. Okay, so Miami's going to win the series. I have spoken. And if they lose the series, these videos can be deleted, so you guys got nothing. What are you guys going to do? Nothing, that's what. But yeah, I mean, basketball is a team game. And LeBron James is 35. And, Rondo's 34. And who's the guy who played for Atlanta? Their center who's 9 feet tall, but he's a reserve usually. What's his name? Dwight Howard is also 34. So of their 6 best players, 3 of them are 34 and 35. Frankly, terrible. I've never heard of people so old. I mean, I'm 51 and I'm not that old. Let's see, what happened here? Let's see. That's a good idea. All right, let's see here. How's Franz doing? Hans is still winning. Dr. Dre said he's still winning. I'm in Miami, but I have little hope. Have more hope. Oh yeah, I cover all losses except for one thing. LeBron is older in basketball. That's right. Playoff Rondo is better than Jordan. Very suspicious. Yeah. Now, obviously, the refs are letting the Lakers win every game, but eventually that could stop. You know. Yeah, LeBron can be LeBron all he wants, but he's 35. Yay, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups. Hooray. Gary Payton, Karl Malone. Vinny the Microwave, 6th man of the year. Tayshaun with the block. Go Pistons. Rashid, corner 3. Seats Boy gifted us up. Thank you. Road to GM 3000 rated with a party of 12. Go Road to GM. Well, I was waxing idiotic. You did a good job. Thanks for the raid. Thanks, Seats Boy. Yeah. It's a round robin, so everybody plays everybody. Yeah. Jimmy Carter is younger than what? Than the 3 people I said? That may be. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we played a line, which I've discussed on the stream many times, where white plays the passive E3 and black is supposed to play E6, but I don't want to go down like no punk bitch, so I always play E5. Okay, and I get this position a lot. And I was giving a lesson to a 7-year-old before you were all born, and I asked him how black wins his pawn back. And again, this is a game that I played a long time ago. I've had this position like 10 times. And the answer was bishop takes followed by takes. And the kid said, knight e5, and if knight e5, then mate. And I was like, God damn. I said, God damn. And then Quentin Tarantino's writing that shit down. Okay, so I've been playing that since. And I had this position many times. Knight e5 hangs rook d1 mate, so the fork doesn't work. All right, and this is slightly better for black. Black has 2 bishops. Black has the queenside majority. Now black has the queenside majority. White's pawn structure is ruined. And it should be a draw. And black has the advantage. And I'll get to the critical position. Okay. Which is this one. All right. In this position, we both played the game pretty reasonably. And it should be a draw. I didn't press my advantage. There was a lot of trades. I had the black pieces. I wasn't as good at the end game, 25 years ago as I am now. Or maybe I was better then. And I played for tricks with bishop a3, which I've already shown on this stream over the last 3 years, 2 or 3 times. And here my opponent blundered. It's more of a psychological blunder than a calculation blunder. Because if rook c3 was a good move, then bishop a3 is a dumb move. So he should have said, is my opponent dumb, or has the song by Nirvana not come out yet? Only Spencer knows. And Spencer does know, I would guess. This game was played in 1992. What say you, Spencer? Spencer's like, I'm not on this stream. I don't know. Yeah, did the song Dumb come out by 92? I don't know. Yeah. The Need for Sheed. That's right. The song came out in 94. No, so he didn't think I was dumb then. All right. Now he blundered here, losing the game. Rook c2 is equal, but he played rook c3, and now I win by straightening his pawn structure out. Bam! And now I play the only move that wins. Every other move is equal. What's the winning move for black? Who can find it? Also, my next question is, had the song Black by Pearl Jam come out yet in 94? Probably not. Anybody? When did Black come out? You guys are guessing the right move, but not the year of the song Black by Pearl Jam. Come on, 91, that's when Spencer was born. Come on. Man, so even Black hadn't come out yet. King d5, recommended by the audience. Suspicious move. Okay, so I played f5, and now Black is winning because White's either going to have 7 isolated pawns, or I'm going to play king d5, rook b8, and then infiltrate with my rook. e5 is the best move. King d5, king e3, rook b8, and Black should win. Played here. And now I play the only move that wins for sure. And then he resigned, actually, which is unusual. Wasn't expecting him to resign. What's the best move for Black? Right. $1991 was Temple of the Dog. What? Was he going hungry? Yay, Miami's like to sneak up from behind. Good job. It's like date night with Karen. King d6 is correct, dog. Now my opponent resigned because if it's my move, check, king f3, king d5, and it's over. If d5, which he did not play, then you play king c5, and then you play rook check. And if d6, you don't take on d6, you check first, and then play rook to d8. And then take with a rook, and the rest is easy. So after king d6, he resigned, and actually the engine says I'm completely winning here. So rook c3 was a blunder based on the, belief that I would never go here and straighten his pawns out, which is exactly what I did, because this is a winning rook and pawn ending, because I get my king here, my rook is better than his, and his pawns are all weak. But easy to miss because I'm making his pawn structure better, but actually the pawn on d4 is bad. Pawn would be better here, actually, because I come and I go get it. d5 is bad? Well, you're losing. You're going to take all your pawns. And so on. All right, let's see what's going on in the Norms tournament, if you can call it that. Let's see. Hans is still winning, +5. This reminds me of a game I lost to Patrick Wolf in 1988. That was not a pleasant memory. Go Ben is correct. All right. Next game. You're so next. Now, I famously lost a game in 10 moves to Igor Novikov before you guys were born. Then you guys were born, so then I stopped doing that. And this actually followed the Novikov game until it did not. My opponent's a 1900 player from Michigan. This game was played in Michigan. Oh, and let's see what year it was. Some year, I don't know. 2000 in the Michigan Open. So it's the 20-year anniversary of this game. September 2000. Yeah. Let's see. Killing it. All right. 300 viewers for the first time today. All right. Don't forget the train. Oh, wait. The train's already done. Maybe it's not. Okay. So this is my game by transposition with Igor Novikov. And in this position, from the New York Open in around 1993, the game went knight c3, queen takes, rook g1, castles with 7 question marks, bishop e2 resigns. Thanks to Bangtown, California for the 1,000 centidues. You're the best. Go Bangtown. Now, irrespective of where I move my queen to the only 2 safe squares, bishop g4 wins my queen, so I resigned. Castle's queenside was a traumatic blunder. Okay, and we got this position in my game 8 years later, but I was going to play differently and not make the 7 question mark blunder. But before I could do so, my opponent deviated. Maybe he had a breathing problem, so, he had deviated septum maybe. I don't know. After bishop g4, I'm in check. So I can't play queen takes h2. That's why long castle was bad. The truth hurts. Yeah, then check. Yeah. Can't, queen takes h2, illegal. Although still good for the chat here. Okay, so my opponent played e4, question mark, and already the engine says I'm winning. Okay, very anti-positional move. Bishop c4, and I made the excellent move, bishop b4 check. Knight c3, obviously bad. And if you put something on d2, it gets pinned and b2 is hanging. So he played the engine move, king f1, knight e7. And here we have a position with equal material where obviously my opponent's pieces don't make any sense. Or pawn structure. So very poor position. And because of the rating differential and the bad position that my opponent had, he went down quickly. Blah, blah, blah. All right. He played queen b5, a very poor move since the queen's already moved. And these pieces haven't moved yet. I played queen f6. I don't want to trade queens, obviously. I want to take on f3. He played f4. Also not very good. I castled, breaking the pin and defending my pawn. King g2 is a very poor move. Queen g6 check, forking the king and the pawn. You can't play king f3 because knight d4 check wins the queen. So king g2 is a very poor move. a6. a6 I was proud of, even though it doesn't matter what I do. After queen takes, I'm threatening his rook. But after a6, his queen must move away from his bishop. So queen takes, e4 would fork the rook and the bishop. It doesn't matter, but I just thought it was a nice finesse. And now I'm threatening the bishop and the rook. And he resigned here. The engine says I'm plus 25. Not kidding either. That game went better for me than the game that I lost in 10 moves to Novikov, I learned an important lesson that day, which I often use on my stream, which is it's easier to beat 1900s than 2600s. Yep. Subs or donations, whichever you prefer. Today we have the end of September, so I want that number to be high, but it doesn't matter. I like them both. Money is money. You do what you do, and then I go to the bank, and then the bank says we're closed. There's COVID. Now, for those of you who showed up late or forgot, either one, our chess center is reopening next week. Instead of being open 5 days a week, which is our usual before the pandemic, we're going to be open 2 days a week for about 3 hours. So Wednesday night and Friday night. If you want to play in the month-long Wednesday night or play in the Blitz Friday night, we're reopening next week. And bring your mask, bring gloves, don't breathe in here. Touch move really applies. We can't have you touching all the pieces. Okay. Try to move the pieces with your mind and hit the clock with your mind. Okay. Cover yourself at all times, etc. And then when your game's done, run for it. Get out in the open. Bring your checkbook. Yeah. So we're very slightly reopening. Very slightly. But yeah, if you want to donate now with subs or donations or bits, they're all good. The more you donate, the more money we have. Yeah. Barely a reopening. That's right. And we closed around March 14th, something like that. It's been over 6 months since we've been open. Yeah, you got to drive to Atlanta and get COVID. Yeah. It's unlikely you'll get COVID. It's only like 49%. All right, let's see if any of these GM Norm games are done. Norm. Here we go. Hans versus Rufus. +6. Let's see. Mista's beating Stremavicius. Jason Liang's beating Mishra. Dragoon is beating Gowrie. And the other game's equal. All right. They've been going almost 3 hours, I think. Let's see. Current position. Now, we'll never do that. Not related to the stream. Hans is streaming now. I think Corbla's streaming on his channel. Okay, now I have a funny story about the next game. There's a guy in Michigan named Dmitry Obakov, and he was always rated between 2,000 and 2,250. And I've been playing chess with him, for maybe like 10 years. And this game was played in 2003. So probably from like 1995 to 2005, I was playing chess with him. And he was an expert or a low master, usually an expert. And he was in his teens and 20s. He was a young player. When I left Michigan in 2009, he had just taken up backgammon. Now, he probably knew the rules, but he started playing in, tournaments. Shifty McHacks gifted 5 subs. Hooray. Anyway, about 3 or 4 years after he started playing in tournaments, he was considered a very strong player. And then in 2017, 2018, 2019, he was being listed on the Giants of Backgammon, and by the people who vote, he's considered one of the top 60 players in the world, or top 50 or top 40, and he wins tournaments in the Midwest. So he went from like not playing in backgammon events to being like a famous backgammon player, which happens in backgammon. Doesn't happen in chess. And this is the same guy. So I think when I was playing chess with him, he barely knew how to play backgammon. And then eventually he got pretty good, etc. There's another player in Michigan who's about 2350 USCF, Bill Calton, who also was getting backgammon lessons and trying to play and was an intermediate player. Now, he's a very good player. Probably better at backgammon than chess now. Although he might have stopped playing backgammon for all I know, but he played for many years. I know most of the world's top backgammon players because, I know good bridge players, good poker players, good, because, that's, you meet people in the games industry. All right. Approving the transaction. All right. Very good story. Okay, so I'm black. And this is another Baltic Estonian Keres defense. And he took on d5, which my other opponents didn't do. But we could have had this position. Okay, so sort of boring. We're both playing the London. You know how it is. Queen b3. Okay, now in my opinion, he made a mistake. Although here black's obviously fine. He played queen takes b6. When I was a small child, my dad said when the queens are on b3 or b6, whoever takes first is probably worse. Which isn't necessarily true, but it is true here. Because once I take with the a-pawn, I got a lot going on here. I got a tremendous position. It's really good to have your rook open and this rook defending. Okay, he made another mistake, knight e5, not developing, not castling, not taking care of this. Bishop b4. King takes is good. My king's good in the center. It can't be harassed. I connect my rooks. I have 3 pieces out to 2. One of his pieces is pinned. My rook can move anywhere. This rook can't. And this rook's on an open file. For example, if he moves his rook, just for a tactical demonstration for you guys, then his a-pawn is hanging because his knight is pinned. So he's got a lot of issues here. The engine already says I'm winning. Yeah, knight e5, knight takes d7 doesn't make a lot of sense. Why is he wasting tempi and just trading pieces? What about his other pieces? The answer is fries. Probably he should have started playing more backgammon. Do you play tournaments and other games? I've played poker, backgammon, bridge, and chess tournaments. What else have I played? I don't know. Name something else. That's all I can remember playing in competitions. It could be I forgot. I'm forgetful. All right. Then crazy chat. Good. I played intramurals tennis at Wayne State, but I wouldn't call that a tennis tournament. I played in a tennis tournament and a chess tournament in France. It was for the chess players. That was a long time ago. What's crib? What? Stratego, Magic the Gathering, draughts, checkers, Yu-Gi-Oh, table soccer. Terrible. Most interesting people, none of them. Tic-tac-toe, I did do that. Okay, my opponent played never play f3, which is the engine move. And now you will know my name is the Lord when I play the engine move here. All right. Although there's more than one move the engine likes. But this is the move you play if you see it. No, never played Go. H6, boo. Indo Queen, yay. Hunky Blood, boo. Next answer. Rook E8, triple X clan. Ezekiel, C6, Bishop C2. He can go A3, but there's no threat because the A-pawn is pinned. I did go to the World Championship of Dice. That is correct. My main competitor who actually knocked me out was Fiuk Yu, the finest player in all of Asia. Yeah. He's also the least understood player in all of the World Series of Dice. Lord Bug 33 is correct. That is correct. No, F3 is a mistake because F3 is always a mistake. That's right. I played Rook A3. And then Uma Thurman said, God damn. The idea is to double up on the A file and take this pawn. Also, I could take this and win. He played the engine move, confusing the audience because the audience doesn't know it's legal. Anyone? Anybody? Anyone? That's correct. He long castled. God damn. Through attack. Okay, and I played one of the two engine moves. I retreated here. Now I'm threatening to take and take. Not really a good answer to that. Okay, he played the engine move G4, H4, put it in H. Rook H2, defense. But I got two rooks, one for each of you. So that's hard to defend that A pawn. Still theory. Rook D2, he tried to defend. And then because he put his rook here, I was able to take this pawn immediately. Or as Yasser would say, immediately. Yeah, A3, I take on C3, take on A3, Papa John's. I was a daisy if I did. Right. So he's losing a pawn. I didn't take his rook. Instead, I threatened checkmate. Stopping checkmate isn't easy. And when he does, I can take his rook later. Checkmate. Hooray for Ben. He played bishop D3. That's the engine move. Rook F1. God damn. Taking advantage of the pinned bishop. The F3 pawn is indefensible. Never play F3. And he resigned because he can't defend this, and then I'll be up 2 pawns with basically no counterplay for him. Hooray for Ben. Yay, I infiltrated with my rooks, and I swung around, and I did this. That was good. Put it in H, although it was A. Yeah. Knight H5. Yeah, Rook F1 was cool. The reason Rook F1 is good compared to the obvious move, if I trade and then play Rook F1, he could take with the king and defend his pawn. 200 centidues, resignitz, says Steinitz. God damn. I don't want his king to defend his F pawn, so his king can defend his F pawn. Yay, I got 2 sets of double pawns, 1 for each of them. Rook A3 was elite. It's where the elite meet and not eat meat. Exactly. Anyway, he was about to make a move in this position, but I gave him the cube, and then he passed. All right, good backgammon joke there, but not too good. 3 good? Okay, then now we haven't done any Slav games yet. The first one was against Yermolinsky. Alex Yermolinsky. I actually played the semi-Slav, which I rarely do. But since he's the world's leading authority, I thought I'd challenge him on his own turf. Exactly. 1,000 centidues. It's a nocturne. You know, Frederick fucking Chopin. It should have been a mazurka, but nocturne sounded better. Yeah. Cambridge Springs. Cubing in chess is called contra. They play blitz chess with a cube. When you double your opponent and they take it, you're giving draw odds. So you can play, yeah. Mark Cuba or Cuba Gooding Jr., who's going to jail? I guess Cuba Gooding Jr. is going to jail. Yeah. Exactly. I've played Yermolinsky more games than atoms in the universe. Yeah. 300 viewers. I get more viewers when I'm on Chess TV. Thanks for the 1,000 centidues, Bangtown, California. You're the best. Okay, so we played a Slav, and I never play E6, but I decided for this game, I prepared E6. Okay, and he played a very unusual move. In this position, Yermolinsky played the move e takes f6, which is very unusual. Normally they play knight takes g5. And so I did specific preparation for this game, but I'm not even sure if I looked at e takes f6 because he doesn't play that. He probably played that because I wouldn't know it, which is correct. Although I played the move myself. Okay, takes knight e5. I've had white in this position also. I beat Al Chow in a game before Yermolinsky was born. Okay, and in this position, I was already out of any chess preparation I knew, but the position's fine for black. I just didn't know, And Yermolinsky's very good at slowly outplaying you strategically. So I figured since I'm the younger player by quite a bit, this was in this was the 2007 U.S. Championship. Let's see, when was this game? Oh, 2008 was Tulsa. Yeah, in 2008, he was already not the youngest player in the world. Yeah, I wasn't old yet, but I was trying to be old. It's pretty old. Yeah. Have you shown a Chigorin defense? Several. Okay, so I played bishop b4, pinning the knight. Bishop e2. Develop my knight. He took on c6. Take. I put it in h. Okay, I want this diagonal open, and I want his king to have nowhere safe to go. So h3 makes sense. The engine wants him to take this, or play bishop f3. He played gh3. Engine doesn't think that's too good. It's all right. Bishop b7. He took a6. So, either one of us knew this, or if this is theory or anything, but the engine says we're playing reasonably. It's just a very strange position. Okay, he played rook g1, breaking the pin, and we traded everything. He has to save his knight. The engine wants to play knight a7, attacking this pawn, but he played knight b4, which is also fine. Okay, and I played an excellent move here because I used to be good. Queen f4. Attacking h2, giving my knight a square. If his queen runs away somehow, queen is c1. Queen's good on f4. Played rook g3, that's correct. I played king e7, that's a good move. My rook defends my bishop. King is safe on e7. Okay, he should play queen a1 here and try to infiltrate later. Played knight c2, which is a mistake. Bishop e4, my bishop's excellent on e4. Knight e3 is a mistake. Rook b8, and obviously I'm better here. Material's equal, but he has double pawns, isolated pawn, backward pawn. My bishop's better than his bishop. My queen's better than his queen. So black's better here. Rook g4 is a good move. Queen takes h2 with the tactical idea. Rook takes e4. I check and take the rook back. Okay, now he made the losing move. According to the engine, he has one move that doesn't lose, but he didn't play it. Let's see if you guys can figure it out. Every move loses immediately except the one good move which he did not play. Then his position is still playable, although I am up a pawn. The wooden shield is correct. King d2 is the most incorrect. Lancer Ulysses got it first, and he's the only one who got it. Bishop f3. After bishop f3, he's okay. He's worse, but he's, playable. He played knight f1. Boo! Boo! Okay, and I pinned his knight, defended my bishop, stopped bishop f3, and he can't do anything now. Now it says I'm completely winning. I'm up a pawn, and I'm better. He played rook g3. I guess he wants to play bishop f3. b4, crashing through. f3, which the engine doesn't like very much. Bishop f5. I want my bishop here so I can make a queen. Also, h3 is attacked. Takes. Bishop takes h3. King f2. Always play bishop f1. Always play bishop f1. Queen h2 check. Queen h4 check. And in this position, I was really proud of my move, although every move wins. Rook takes b4 wins, c3 wins, but I really like this move. I played queen f4 because my queen's really good on f4. I control the queening square. The queen can go to e3. I block this pawn. I'm on all of his pawns. And the engine says I'm like plus 3.5 or something. Yeah. If he takes on c4 with the bishop, I take, and I have a skewer here, and he's down a lot of material. Now it says I'm plus 4. Anyway, in this position, he resigned. But yeah, I like queen f4 because why should I let his queen go to d2 or anything? Attack my rook on b4. Terrible. And then here he resigned. So that was like a nice smooth victory over a better player. And I had the black pieces. The other time in my life when I beat Yermolinsky was the 1994 U.S. Open, which was in Rosemont, Illinois, near Chicago. I was also black and a Slav. So I've beaten Yermolinsky twice. I was black both times. Never beat him with white. And he's beaten me a couple times, at least a couple times. He beat me in the 1994 U.S. Championship. He beat me in the 1999 U.S. Open. He beat me in the 1999 World Open. And I was black in all those games. I get black every game against him. Even the games I was white. He might have beaten me another time, but I can't remember another time he beat me. Maybe that was it. Yeah. After rook g4, I could check and then take this, and he's down 2 pawns for nothing. And then some, that's right. Yeah. So that was in the 2008 U.S. Championship in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I learned a lot about life in that event. The first thing I learned is never go to Tulsa. I mean, I was in Tulsa twice that year because I qualified for the U.S. Championship by playing in a qualifier in Tulsa. Although I don't think I qualified. I think I got in by rating somehow. I'm not sure how I got in. Maybe it was by circumstance. All right, go Ben. Yay, safe king. Not too safe. A little safe. So many windows I have to X out. And then I did. All right, now the next guy, he was so upset about losing, he changed his name. Now, obviously, he wasn't upset about losing, or was he? But he did change his name. Eric Torman. And his name used to be Vadim Semekman, which I will spell in the chat. All right, Vadim Semekman. And he was one of the top juniors in the U.S. He moved to the Michigan from the old country. I'm not sure which country. And my dad used to drive him around to tournaments when he was a little kid, like 11, 12, 13. And he got to like over 2,500 USCF. And we were the two best players in Michigan. Then he quit chess and got a regular job, and so forth. He changed his name to Eric Torman. Yeah. And don't forget it. Unless you forget. I'm banned from chatting. I'm a tier 1 sub. I didn't say anything wrong. What? I would never ban anybody, although maybe. Trying to Learn's going to have a look and then ban you again. Man, how could you misspell his name so badly after I typed it out? Okay, so I'm black against Torman. This game was played in 1994 at the Motor City Open. Now, I remember I was sick during this game. I got really sick at the tournament. And first prize was $2,000 or something, and there was nobody good at the tournament. No grandmaster showed up. The 3 best players were me and Torman and a guy named Boris Men from Ohio, from the old country. And he was about the same rating as me. Anyway, I'm playing Eric, and I was sick. And we played a Slav, exchange Slav. What's funny is I was just talking to Aviv about this today, coincidentally. Like this exact position. Right. And he was telling me about a game his student played, which was similar to a game between like Svidler and Kramnik, which went like e6, queen b3, bishop d6, here, 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 here. I think that's actually the game. And I don't know what happened in the game, but this is the game. So I was just talking about this variation today. Anyway, I played rook c8. He played bishop e2. And I made a very bad move here, queen b6. Terrible move. e6, knight a4. And I'm already losing here. The queen is just terrible on b6. So I went queen a7, which the engine recommends. Queen b3. And this position is just awful. He's coming into b6 and I can't stop him. b5 is just terrible. This is so weak and pinned. Yeah, the engine says knight e5, he's +5. Okay, so I played knight d7 defending. He played knight e5, and I can't take with this knight because it's pinned. If I take with this knight, his knight's going to come into b6. I'm already losing here. Queen b6 to a7 is really bad. Okay, and I just lose the exchange. There's nothing I can do. My rook's trapped. Okay, so here I'm down the exchange for no pawns, and this guy has a similar rating to me, and I didn't even care. I was like, I'm sick, I'll lose, I'll get to sleep, whatever. Yeah, I really felt bad. It's Karen. Go, Karen. Unbanned him yesterday. All right. And now when you're completely losing and you have no hope, you want to make the game complicated. So I played e5. And my opponent, for reasons I don't understand, also wanted the game complicated. Maybe that's why he quit chess. And he played knight c5, which is not a good move. I took. Knight takes b7, which is not a good move. And he's threatening this. He's threatening this. I just play rook c8, and I'm like, all right, your knight's dumb. And he took on d5, which is the engine move. Bishop e6, and he can't save his knight on b7. The engine wants him to sack a queen. Take this. Take this here. And it says white's better, but obviously I'll take this over down the exchange for nothing. And he played queen e4 instead, and I took. And all of a sudden, I've won a piece for some pawns. So the engine says I'm worse, but, I'm not completely lost like I was before. So the way that he played after I played e5 was, just terrible. And here, he should definitely play bishop f3, and he's still better, but he took on d4. And now he's not better. Queen d7, unpinning my knight. He takes my pawn, rook c7. Now this pawn's weak, this pawn's weak. I have a bishop and a knight for a rook. It's unclear position. Either side could win. Bishop b5 is a mistake. He should play bishop c4. And now I played a very nice tactical trick. Let's see if you can find it at home. If you can't find it, you're required by Twitch rules to donate 10 subs. If you can't find it. Now, that's the bad news. The good news, if you do find it, you have to donate 20 subs. I don't make the Twitch rules. I just profit from them. $65.48. Go Miami, crushing LA, even though they're down 17. Go Spencer. Let's see, reading some of these emails. And then let's see how Hans is doing. I think he's playing Franz. Hans won in 27 moves, and the game ended in checkmate. That'll do it. Mista won. Shankar's losing, and then 2 equal positions. All right. Jimbo Matthews with the old school notation is correct. Bishop takes G2. Bam. So I snuck a pawn, and I gave him some isolated pawns while I was at it. Okay, he played the engine move, which is to take. If he takes with the bishop, I can just take with the bishop. And I check, and I get this. So he has a rook and 2 pawns for 2 pieces, but 3 isolated pawns and open king. The engine says it's equal. So I was down the exchange for nothing against like a 2480 USCF. No, I'm fine. Okay, I put it in H. Don't want to get back rank mated. And yeah, I'm starting to outplay him now. 97 was a good move. Yeah, and I have good control here of F4. Queen, his pawns are under control. My king is super safe. Isolated pawns, bad king. My 2 pieces are crushing his rook. His rook isn't doing anything. But my pieces have good squares. So already he's probably losing. D5 is a mistake, giving me the C5 square. It's hard when you're completely winning and then you get like an equal, unclear position to like continue to play well. Bam! Gotcha. I don't want to trade queens, obviously. My king is safer. Never play F3. So in this position, the engine says I'm up 3. 3, you understand? If you don't, I'll let you think about it. Okay, between 3 and 4. And never play F3. You know how I roll. And now it says I'm plus 63. Now it announces mate. Not only do I have forced mate after F3, I have more than 1 forced mate. So yeah, probably never play F3. F3 undefends the G2 square, and it opens up this diagonal to his king. God damn, F3 is bad. Takes away the F3 square from the queen, too. Okay, so I threaten mate, as was the style at the time. He played rook G1, and I put it in H. Now I'm threatening knight takes rook, knight F2 check, and queen H2 mate. Since those 3 moves win for me, he resigned. So I was down the exchange for nothing. Then the game got tricky, and then, But the weird thing is I was talking to my friend on the phone today about one of his students' games, and somehow we got to this position in the discussion. And he was telling me about this game, and I was like, when I put this game, I'm like, wait, that's what we're talking about today, but not rook C8. And queen B6, queen A7 is horrible. Queen B6 is a really bad move. It's like double question mark. It just gets harassed, and then I give up the B6 square and I'm losing. E6 is obviously the right move. Frankly. I got to get my bishop out in castle. So yeah, just a terrible move. Yeah, and I'm just losing immediately. The final position, though, was good. I ended up drawing Boris Men before, after this game in like 10 moves, although I declined to draw. And then we both won all our games and tied for first and won 1,500, which, at that time was a lot of money. In 2000. Was this played in 2000? When was this game? Oh, 1994. God damn. 1994. That's like $1 billion. Man, 1,500 is like probably the most prize money I've ever won in Michigan ever. Now, I really like this game because of the final move. This is against Vladimir Turkolek, who was the president of the Canadian Chess Federation. Might still be. He's a 2000 player from Windsor, Ontario. I've played him several times. Nice guy. Somebody gift that guy a sub, the Espanol guy. No habla Espanol, because he buttered me up. Now, hopefully that was vegan butter. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Yep, go Ontario. Man, Ontario's big. God damn. Okay, so now we're near the end of the stream now. So now we're doing the check Benoni, also the block Benoni. The reason I play this line with the knight moving around to g6 is in 1988, when Avicii was visiting us in Belgium, there was a 30-minute tournament we played in, which we actually got paired in, and he was playing it every game with black. I've never seen him play it since. He played it in this one tournament. He beat me with it. I was winning, and I got in time trouble and lost. And he lost to Mikhail Gurovich, and he beat some other guys. I'm not sure why he was playing it or who showed it to him, but he never played it after that tournament. He played it in one tournament. So I've been making a career out of it. I'm like, I've never seen that. I'll do that. If Anand can do it, I can do it. I just won't do as well. That's all. I can beat you in chess. Good for you. Is he banned yet? Caruana or Barbara Streisand? You mean who's more from New York? I don't know. How much did the chair cost? It was a present from Karen, so I don't know, but it was around 500, I guess. You know, plus or minus. Not sure how much it was. Didn't buy it. The floor, we got the new carpeting in here about a year and a half ago. So that cost a pretty penny. Yeah. No, not 500 centipons. 500 real dollars. Paper money. I've never been to Japan. Yay, Mubot's giving commercials. This is a good time for you to donate some subs. So the people who are watching commercials, all of a sudden they're subs to my channel and they don't have to watch commercials anymore. See what a nice guy you could be? Chair is awesome. I agree. Anyone? Anybody? Donate subs? Train? Something. Another train. If only somebody donated 77 subs. Is that 77 subs? Yeah, close enough. Dimebag donated a sub. Yay. Go Dimebag. What was the Anamu Ginger Jam made on you? He put his bishop on a square. You couldn't take them for some reason. I don't know. That sentence doesn't even make a lot of sense. No, your gifted sub ended. No. Somebody give Dark Knight a sub. Do I have any kids? What is this? Who doesn't know, my whole life story? Terrible. A train is a way to trick you guys out of your money. It's like an exciting way to donate money. People keep donating and the train keeps going. It's great. It's also known as the scam train, and we have an emote for that. So I saw something funny on the internet about 2 days ago. It was on Twitter. Somebody posted it. On QVC, the actual QVC, not the streamer, but the television station, they were showing these god-awful, ugly blouses. God damn. I mean, Prince wouldn't even wear them. Anyway, at some point, she said they had like a moon pattern, which I don't know what that is. Then there was a big discussion between the man and the woman running the show about what the moon was. So one of them said it was a planet. Then the other one made fun of her, saying it wasn't a planet, but what is it? And then maybe it's a star. And she said, the sun's a star. And the guy said, I don't know what the sun is. That was a good response to the sun as a star. And then they argued what the moon was, whether it was a star, a planet, or other. And then the one guy didn't know what the sun was. Then, like, the producers of the show must have told them in their ear. Now, in the background of this video, one of the models is like doing this laughing. So that was funny, which nobody pointed out on Twitter, but I saw it. And then when they told the woman who was in charge of the show that it's like a satellite and it's not a planet or a star, she was like, what? Oh, I don't like that. I don't know what that is. No. She didn't like it. Anyway, it's a very funny video. if you want to watch something funny. It's very funny. So make sure you watch that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the way he said it was genius. You couldn't write better comedy. I don't know what the sun is. Ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. Man, she didn't like what the moon was. She was furious. Yeah. No chess, just stories. Yeah. Okay, trying to learn, put the clip up. Notice the woman in the background laughing when the people are arguing what the sun and the moon are. Yeah. She's choking on her own rage. Now, the funniest thing about the video is how ugly the blouse is. I mean, it's just unbelievable how ugly it is. It's amazing. You couldn't make it uglier if you wanted. Like, I'm going to make the ugliest clothes ever. No, they got you. Exactly. South Korean, exactly. Yeah, one of our strongest members is Ben Moon. That's correct. Yeah. And he's somebody's son, so there you go. All right, so here's my game with Jerkalik. Let's see what year it was from. 1993 Michigan Masters Experts in Flint, Michigan. I think that's why my chest got worse. I started drinking the water. No. More viewers just chatting. Yeah, but I show too much chess for that. I could do a just chatting one. That would be good. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So here's the game. It's a, closed Benoni thing that I like to do. Yeah, and most people who play the closed Benoni, like I do, like this, they play g6, bishop g7, or when they play bishop e7, they play castles, knight e8, g6, knight g7, f5, Yasser style. I've done that, but it's pretty rare. Castles, knight e8, g6, knight. Okay, but I put my knight around here because that's what I always do. All right. I've had this position a million trillion times, and I never realized that she was the one who shot Andy. Yeah. And the truth hurts. Little known fact, Neil deGrasse Tyson is Mike Tyson's brother, but Mike Tyson is ashamed of him because he's a nerd. So they don't talk about it. Little known fact. Very little. If you want to learn about that fact more, watch Mike Tyson Mysteries on Adult Swim. I recommend nothing. Yeah, I mean, whether you're a beginner or advanced player doesn't matter. If you're a beginner, you don't get to play openings. You just make moves, and your opponent makes moves, and things happen. Yeah. You didn't know that. That's correct. As long as you still don't know it, then you're in good stead. Yeah. Make sure you watch Mike Tyson Mysteries. Really funny show. I'm ashamed of my brother, Neil deGrasse. Your brother's Neil deGrasse Tyson? Yeah, he's a nerd. I'm sorry. Okay, so he played G3, crushing my knight's dreams. Okay, this game was played a long time ago. All right. And I get my counterplay on the queen side. He checkmates me on the king side. Always play king b1. All right, so everybody's having fun. Now, he took the king b1 too far. King a1, what? Queen b6, threatening bc4, and, double up on the bubble up. Bishop c1, always defend. Okay, now I played a very long, drawn-out maneuver. Not geary drawn, but drawn, not like a draw. Knight e8 to c7 and b5 to d4 is the idea. Moving the knight from here to here, c'est pas facile. Now, obviously, if he takes on b5, he's opening up the a file and straightening out my pawns, So this is a very nice idea. Because d4 is obviously a good square. Okay. And as George Bush would say, mission accomplished. 92. All right, now I changed my mind, and I played knight f8. I'll play knight d4 when I feel like it. And then bishop e8. I got two knights, one for each of you. All right, go knights. Now if he takes, and I take with one of my pawns, my knight has access to good squares. So obviously I'm sort of crashing through here, and since my pawns haven't moved, which is very important, his attack is shallow and pedantic. Play knight b6. And I did. Confusing the audience. Now he's up a pawn, but you can see his king is getting attacked and my king is not. Yeah, I mean, my knight's on d4 somehow. My rooks are on the b file. My queen has this. And his rooks are shallow and pedantic. So the engine says I'm winning. Played bishop e3. Knight b3 check. If he takes, I take with the rook, threatening his queen, plus queen a5 mate, plus rook a3 mate. So he has to move his king. Every move wins here. I played knight d2, check, it doesn't matter. He played king a1. The engine likes king a1. No? Knight takes c4. Queen a5. Material's equal, but obviously I have a big attack. He played queen c3 to trade queens. Now I play a little trick. Knight takes. He can't take my queen because I play knight check and take my queen back and I'm up a piece. So he takes on f3. He can't take with the queen because queen b2 is mate. Okay, I take on e4. Now I'm up material and I'm threatening everything and my king is still safer. Wrapping it up. Wrap it up button. I don't want to trade queens. Yeah. Now I played a really nice move. I mean, beautiful move. The engine doesn't even say it's the best move. It's like tied for first. Okay. So every move wins, but e4 is really cute. And the idea is I want to play bishop f6, obviously. And if he takes my bishop, I have tactical tricks. And he did take my bishop, which actually the engine recommends. I check. He has to block with either knight d1 or queen d1. Doesn't matter because I play queen f6 in either case. If he plays knight d1, then queen f6 is check and I win his rook. Now it's not check, but you have to save your knight because it's mate. So he gets a pawn for his rook, a desperado. Yeah. This is the move of the game I'm most proud of. Now here, every move wins. You can't make a move that doesn't win. Well, you could, but you have to try hard. But this is my favorite move of the game. And it won't be your favorite move. You're going to get mad when I show you. You'd be like, that move sucks. You suck. Your chess center sucks. Michael Burns, 802, gifted a sub. You do not suck. Raiden Solo is correct. No habla español, 100 centidues. Thank you. That is correct. H6. My opponent's in Zugzwang. He can't move. So H6, he can't move more. Yeah, you have no move here. You can't move your king, it's illegal. You can't move your knight, it's illegal. You can't move your H, E, or D pawn, that's illegal. So what you got left is your G pawn, your A pawn, and your queen. If you move your A pawn, rook B3 wins. Your queen is defending your G3 pawn and your knight. So if you move it, it's not. So after H6, it's his turn to move, but he can't move. So he resigned, and now I'm +8. Even though I'm only up the exchange, king's no good, etc. That was one of my favorite games in that line, because we both castled opposite sides, and we started to attack, but my attack broke through, and I got to play this really nice maneuver. That was pretty good. Although I couldn't pronounce maneuver, my Canadian opponent explained it to me. Yeah, well, every move wins, but H6 is the coolest. Exactly. 1,000 centidues. Let's get that train going. There it is. It got the train going. Bangtown, California gave 5 subs. Paying forward from Dominic. Michael Burns, No Habla Español in Bangtown, California. They got the train going starting at level 3. It's the last train of the stream because the stream ends in 20 minutes. So that'll do it. ZZYZY Man, 100 centidues. No Habla Español's decided to be the conductor. 500 centidues. Mr. Josco, 200 centidues. All right, last game. Keep donating, though. It's against Danny Shapiro, which is very funny because there's a GM Danny Shapiro who watches my stream and Karen's stream, and there's an actual Danny Shapiro who's an FM. It's like 2350. And I've played him, I think, twice in my life. And I've been told, but I haven't seen, and this is 30, 40 years ago, so I don't know if he's alive now, but he had a really good jump shot, three-point shot. Like, he was a really good basketball player. I haven't seen him play, I just heard. Like, he was shooting from 3 and making it rain like Lil Wayne. And Lil Wayne wasn't even born yet. God damn. In fact, it was so long ago, Lil Wayne had not yet gone to jail. That's how long it was. Before he was born. Damn. That's crazy talk. All right, hype train. Go hype. Go everybody. Man, I played so well this game. When it was over, I had to lick it like a lollipop. My pieces, they were so good. Yeah. There were shorties in the club. Everything was great. Yeah. It was a long time ago. I think he stole those lines from me, though. Man. But the phone in my limousine was busted, so I couldn't get a lot of people to show up. 500 centidues. No habla español. Go, everybody. I wonder if the bottles were in the club. Yeah. Go, hype train. You're almost at level 4. Yay, 200 centidues for No Habla Español. I've played Josh Friedel many times. I've won, I've lost, and I've drawn. Played him in U.S. championships. I've played him in Norm tournaments in Chicago. I've played him all over the place. I knew Josh Friedel before you were born. God damn. No habla español. He can't stop donating. He tried to stop, but it wouldn't work. Trying is the first step to failure. All right, this was played. What year was this game? That's not even the right game. World Open, Philadelphia 2000. 20 years ago. No habla español, 500 centidues. Jimbo Matthews, 500 centidues. Fight, fight, fight. Taxi in the 70s, that was great. Head-to-head score, I lost to him in the U.S. Championship in San Diego. I beat him in Chicago in some GM tournament. We drew in 150 moves in the U.S. Championship and another San Diego U.S. Championship. One was La Jolla, one was San Diego. The one that we drew, I think, was in La Jolla. I think I lost to him in San Diego. La Jolla is San Diego, according to you guys. So, trying to differentiate for you guys. We played in Norm tournaments in Texas Tech, Spice Cup. He beat me in one of them, and it was a Pyrrhic victory because I won the tournament ahead of him, clear first. It was like the B group of the Spice Cup. That was the only game I lost. So I don't remember beating him another time. So I beat him once and he beat me twice. And we have a couple draws maybe. And I can't remember some of the games. I'm guessing he has 2 wins. I have 1 and there's 2 draws. But I'm guessing. I could be 1 off somewhere there. 200 centidues again. 200 centidues more from Burns. 45 from Burns. Unstoppable train. Now the Denzel Washington Chris Pine, isn't that a remake of a 70s movie? Pelham 1, 2, 3? The original was a lot better. Is that what I'm thinking? I mean, the original was great. If I'm thinking of the right movie. If I'm not, then I resign. 166 centidues, McJurgle. Hooray. John Travolta's the one I'm thinking of? I hope not. What are you guys talking about? I would never think of John Travolta. Swordfish is another movie. Man, you guys are so confused. Great film, Unstoppable. Yeah, Taking a Pelham 123 was great as long as you're talking about the original. The remake was alright. John Travolta's never the one I want. Do you play norm tournaments? Never. Unless they invite me and give me money, then maybe. 3 Days of the Condor, which was actually 8 Days of the Condor. But they changed the title for the movie. That movie I liked. That was a good movie. Oh, Pine and Denzel is Unstoppable? I didn't see that movie. So that I can't help you. What wasn't Denzel Washington in Taking a Pelham 123 the remake? Maybe I did see Unstoppable. I don't know. It insists upon itself. So Denzel Washington was in the remake? Yeah, okay. Yeah, the original's better. Watch the original. 3 Days of the Condor was good. Yeah, my mom gets mad when movies are remade. She doesn't like remakes. She gets pretty mad about it. Pretty mad. I'll start talking about the game in a minute when the Moobot is done with his commercials. ZZYZY man, 100 centidues. We need 400 centidues or 2 subs the next 30 seconds to get to level 5. A Star is Born? I think she likes A Star is Born. Not M. Twain, whose name used to be Samuel Clemens. Trying to sound like Brian over here. That's always your go-to. No, we died on level 4. Oh, wait, we got to level 5? Oh, that's what I meant, we got to level 5. 100 centidues. Kangaroo gifted 2 subs. Go Kangaroo. There's 4 A Star is Born? All right. Yeah, my mom doesn't like action movies. Yeah, usually GM and IM norm tournaments have large entry fees because people want norms. Also, there's prizes. There's a lot of expenses for the organizer. A lot of work. Right, she does not like remakes. That is correct. Yeah. Unfortunately, every movie in Hollywood the last 20 years is a remake. So, truth hurts. All right, last game with Danny. The closed Benoni, as we explained. Now here I castled because he played G3 immediately. And I usually don't castle here. Usually I do this. But if they're going to play G3 right away, then all right. Then why's my knight here? I played the normal way. Yeah, this is more normal. F4 is like almost always wrong. Yeah, white's better here. White has more space. But after F4, black gets a lot of counterplay. All right, he plays bishop G1. Don't forget the train. We're going to die at level 5. No. Yay, now I have E5 for my knight. I'm the best. Pretty interesting position. The engine says it's equal. But the point is, when you have black against the lower rated, you don't want trade, symmetrical draw, greed, which you see a lot at the top level, because those guys are all about the same rating. But when I'm playing somebody who's under 2100, I'm just going to overpower them because I'm 400, 500 points better than them. But when somebody's 2100, 2450, and they're white, and they want to draw, and they play as such, I have to do something to win, which isn't a problem the top players have. Okay, when the top players are black and they're playing other top players, normally their opponent's not playing for a draw. Their opponent's trying to beat them. If their opponent plays for a draw, they're like, fine. But when you're paired down 200, 300, 400 points, you got to win. And if your opponent's pretty good and they're white, it's hard to win. So you got to play some unusual, asymmetrical, confusing openings like this. Doesn't matter what the engine says, you got to win. So I'm playing this kind of block Benoni, engine likes white, but complicated. 500 centidues from No Habla Español. You're the best. We still need some more subs. We're 65 subs short. No. Karen's been in the chat for like an hour, at least. Okay. 1,000 centidues. We're almost at level 6. Getting close. Okay, he played 92, which is the engine move. I played A6. Give him something else to think about. B4. Engine says that's okay. B6. Now, I do this a lot when I play A6 and B6 in this opening, and you'll see in a minute. Queen C3. I retreated my knight. So in this position, his knight's pinned. He unpins his knight. Now he could take my knight and mess my pawns up. So I played knight G7, defending the E6 square. Born in Oz, gifted 5 subs. Over 100%. Level 5 complete. Level 6. Yay. 174%. You got to give 174%. McJurgle gifted a sub. You get a sub. You get a sub. Go subs. Okay, so he played A3. Solid. Okay, now I did one of my favorite maneuvers in this opening. The engine doesn't do it. The engine just takes and says I'm slightly better. Whenever I play A6 and B6, this opens up my second rank. So I play rook A7 and I get my rook into the game without moving my queen and bishop. I like this maneuver. Take, take, take. And the engine still says this is about equal. Knight C1's a terrible move. You can see all my pieces are pretty good. When the game ended, I remember Danny saying, yeah, my position was always bad because my bishop here is terrible. That's what he thought. The engine does not agree. The engine thought he was fine the whole game. Yeah. Anyway, you get these really interesting games where all 3 results are possible. It's rich in ideas, and you expect the better player to win, as opposed to trade, 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 and I have to win some draw and ending, which sometimes I do. But now if I lose, it's because my opponent played better than me. And if I'm 200, 300, 400 points higher rated, I expect to play better. I mean, I do. And when I'm white, I play boring, I'm slightly better, and I squeeze him. That was my style for my chess career. Squeeze him with white, confuse him with black. Okay, knight B3. Engine doesn't like that knight over there. Retreated my bishop, so I could open this up and maybe play knight F5. He retreated. Takes, 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 takes. Always play bishop F1. Knife F5. And the engine says this position's only slightly better for black, which is hard to believe because his bishops are pretty shallow and pedantic. His bishops are bad. And I have an idea of getting my bishop here. So he's got to be careful. And my knights have good squares. Queen is infiltrating. I'm slightly better here, Jesus. Okay, he played bishop G2, which the engine says is fine. Knight E3. Got to get rid of that bishop so my white square bishop can mate him on the diagonal. Brah, you subscribed. Thanks, brah. Old man, new game subscribed. Go subscribers. Gift subs are not discounted. You have to sub for yourself. 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, you get 20, 25, 30% off. Only for another hour. The more you sub, the more you save. I don't know. Okay, knight D2 is the engine move. I played knight E4. Knight E4 is bad. That's a blunder. You should take back. He's still worse, but now he's losing. This is a terrible move. He wanted to attack my queen and check and get counterplay, but it doesn't work. I go here threatening his knight. He has to play knight f6 check. I threaten his knight again. And unfortunately, I'm sure he saw this when he played knight e4. He probably thought in this position, I would take and he would take, which he probably thought was about equal, but I made a move he didn't see and the game is over. It turns out I have 3 winning moves here, but the move I played is like +6. So his knight e4 was a terrible blunder, but his blunder wasn't that. His blunder was psychological. For between moves like 17 and 30, he just thought he was dead lost when it was like equal. He thought, oh, my game sucks. Queen e4 doesn't work because of knight f6. Yeah, you got to promote your knight. Always promote your knight. Knight g4 is illegal. Knight g3 should be illegal. Okay, so you want your queen to be here and mate your opponent, and these are the diagonal squares he can defend and block. So you should play knight e1. It defends this, and it threatens mate. And if somehow white can stop all of that, this knight's not doing too well either. This move just wins immediately. In fact, how do you stop queen e4? The answer is fries. So, I mean, if I was white, I would play knight f6. But the engine doesn't give that. Let me see why. Oh, I play queen e2, and then I play mate next move. God damn, I didn't see that threat. Yeah, knight f6 stops his queen f6 check counterplay. Yeah, you can't stop queen g2 mate. It's mate in 1. Damn, harsh. Okay, so he played knight e5, which is the engine move, going into the piece down endgame. And then he resigned because I'm going to put a knight here next move and win, and there's nothing he can do. So he resigned here. Yeah, but knight e1's a nice finishing move. And then queen e4 is annoying, and queen e2 to g2 is annoying. But yeah, this was a terrible blunder on his part. He played the Zwischenzug, knight e4, double question mark. Should just take this, and the engine says I'm better. Like queen g4, you know, his king's not very good. Pawn is a little weak. Big advantage to black. But after this is completely lost because of knight e1. Yeah. Go knight e1, go Levant Aronian. There's some Geary Aronian game where Aronian puts something on knight e1 or bishop e1 or knight, I don't know. I think it was knight e1. Spencer knows. If Spencer's here, he'll say. He's probably not here. Spencer, the game of Geary Aronian, which is like one of the greatest games ever. Aronian play what, knight e1? What'd he do? Knight e1? Cool. Yeah, I knew Spencer would know. I played the Benko Gambit like 35 years ago. I played it for 3 or 4 years, then I stopped. No particular reason, I stopped liking it. I was alive 35 years ago, and then some. I graduated high school 35 years ago. God damn. Although it was 34 years ago. Same thing. It starts with Ben. Go Ben, son of sorrow. I raid you, you raid me. Become a GM at 40? That is correct. Gotta become a GM at some point. Go Ben! No, we need 58 subs to get to our goal. No! Who's gonna donate 58 subs in the next 5 minutes? Probably not me. 1745. That's close. 55 subs will do it. I'll wait. For those of you who got here late or forgot or were watching, ads, we're going to have a soft reopening of the chess club next week here. We're only going to be open Wednesday and Friday for about 3 hours. We'll have our month long on Wednesday, which we always did, and we'll have our Blitz tournament Friday, which we always did. It's the same as the other times, except we raised the entry fee slightly to pay for COVID. We're not open Tuesday, which we used to be, and we're not going to have weekend tournaments. That might happen in November and December if we're still alive. Then maybe. Yeah, strong players, if you mean really strong, yeah, they remember stuff like that. Yeah, that Chess Life cover we have here in the Chess Center. That's correct. A lot of pictures of me in that magazine. A lot of pictures. We sent them a lot of pictures to Chess Life. My mom had pictures of me nobody knew about. I denied everything. I said that could be anybody's ass. So they didn't get me. Yay! FL Genders gave 5 subs. We're almost at our goal, 97%. How well is the chess club ventilated? Not too well. We have very high ceilings, and we have 3,200 square feet, and we expect approximately 10 people to come Wednesday and 10 to come Friday. I mean, we could get more than 10 for the Blitz, but people are still afraid. So if we're not going to have more than 15 people and we have 3,200 square feet, we'll be able to social distance pretty well. The ceilings are, 12 feet high. But yeah, but we can't open the windows, which is an issue. So the truth hurts. Yeah, obviously if we had a lot of people here, that would be bad. But I don't think we're going to have more than 15 people here. Yeah. $17,000 views. Wait, what does that mean? What? Oh, you mean, well, I'm not sure what you mean. We have 1,700 subs. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Nissan All 55. Yeah, we can't open the windows. They don't open. What are we going to do? But everybody has to wear a mask. Everybody playing will be 1,000 feet apart. We got sanitizer everywhere. Everybody loses pretty quickly because they play badly, then they leave. So that's all we can do. I mean, nobody's going to be in the club more than 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So it's like going to a restaurant, except we have less people. My PC showed 17,000. What? What? That's right. Shuffleboard rake is correct. 1% of the country caught COVID. Of that, only half died from it. Yeah, those stats are incorrect. But thanks for playing. Making up stats doesn't make them true. Yeah, people dying of COVID isn't less than 1%. That's just wrong. And way more than 1% got COVID. But thanks for playing. Problem with getting COVID isn't that you're going to die or get sick. The problem is it's a disease you can spread. So if you get COVID and you're hanging around with everybody and you give 100 people COVID and those 100 people give another 100 people COVID and they tell 2 friends, that's what's bad about it. So we don't want our chess club members to die. Now, maybe some of them, but not all of them. I mean, we like most of our chess club members. So, yeah. And a lot of reasons the numbers are down is because people wear masks and they're not idiots. It's the idiots who are getting in trouble. But then you got the non-idiots who run into the idiots. Man, the truth hurts. So, if everybody decided nobody would die, that would be good. But people like you who give false stats and say oh, it's great, that's the issue. Yeah. So you have to go to some other stream and spread your lies. If you want to do that, I recommend Charlotte Chess Center. Yeah, he agrees with your lies. So you should do that. COVID. Will I get COVID? Would not make it. Yeah, that's also good. Yeah. Not getting COVID is better. Yeah, my ex-stepdaughter and her husband and her 3 kids and her dad all got COVID. That was the most fun they ever had, except for one thing. Yeah, the other problem with getting COVID isn't dying, which is a problem. But it's, you can get sick, you could be sick forever. You could die in 5 years, you could have heart issues, you could have other issues, we don't know. So there's a lot of issues. But all you have to do is, if you don't know what to rely on, take the dumbest people you know, Republicans, and then see what they say, then do the opposite. And I told Karen that's how I live my life. Okay, there's smart people who sometimes disagree, sometimes. Then there's idiots who never disagree. They're like, I'm dumb, no, I'm dumber, and they argue who's the dumbest, right? And then whatever they say, just do the opposite. That'll keep you in good stead, right? So when Trump says, oh, everything's fine, now you know, right? So that's very helpful to have a lot of idiots that you know so you can see what they say. Yeah. Anyway, the truth hurts. COVID. All right, I mean, riding a helicopter is safe unless you're COVID. I mean, Kobe. I'm getting my co's confused here. All right, I don't want to raid them because they're not doing chess. Don't want to raid him because he's a cheater. Don't want to raid him because he's elite chess. Don't want to raid him because he sucks. So, and he's also elite chess. I got to do what Karen tells me. Damn, this isn't good. All right, Karen, you got to tell me. I have to end the stream. It's been 3 hours. Karen has to tell me who to raid. Man, it's hard to raid anybody. Vampire Chicken is not streaming, so I can't raid him. Otherwise, I would. Yeah. All right, we got to make sure he's streaming because, could be not streaming. Add free viewing, 32 people. All right, I guess he's streaming. Yeah. No, I just do what Karen tells me, not what you guys do. You guys can type all the nonsense you want. All right, let's see. Yeah, I spelled that wrong. Yeah, luckily we know a lot of people who don't really have it up here. So then we talk to them, and then we do the opposite of what they say. Obviously, you can just turn on TV and see those people. So, yeah, we call them Republicans. Okay, I still spelled it wrong. Maybe I'm one of those people. I keep misspelling the same name. Let's see, are they streaming? They are, if you can call them a person. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm streaming late tomorrow because we have some issue. There's something happening. Normally, I stream 3 to 7 on Thursday, but I'll be streaming about 5 to 9, and I might be late. On the other hand, we could also do the following.